Own bot, but I'm not sure if they're even really necessarily going to need it.
I'm sorry, did Winnie just go all the way? Okay. Dave goes off the map? Uh-oh. That's a big uh-oh moment. And Zonix said, oh,
wow.
To block out a good amount of damage. Does not save the Symmetra as they have to overextend to find anybody. Having one of the abilities behind him is a bright side as you beat the 3. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, that is very true, but the rush is going to be on the menu today for Game Not Given. He's looking for a slam, and they get one on the Captain Crash. Jam follows shortly thereafter, and Ace is proving to be just that, an ace for this CU side. My God, they got 4 kills, but the sound barrier and the Transcendence committed is not going to be enough to stymie.
Just don't feel too great going off of that 1v1 and getting slick, and you're at 1. The Dragons there to clean up the rest of the fight as your team. You get to the choke without too much of a worry. You see Fed's shields broken in. Molly, no, the Diva. Oh no, not the Mercy.
Connie has this multi-core ready to go. Enough. Has the sights as well, they're going to pop them. And with both these DPS ults online, there's not really much that Enzonix can do. And you know, there's a great subreddit for that. It's called Watch Cloak Sombra Die.
Hello, everybody. I hope that you are having a fantastic day, night, morning, whenever you're deciding to watch this broadcast, because honestly, it's been something we have been waiting for the last 2 weeks. Everybody's been excited for it. I know I have, and I know my co-caster, Chief Billy, has definitely been excited because, I mean, we've got both Unplugged and Eurospar.
Yep, indeed. We got Eurospar representing Ireland here, and I got to point out right away, Pure Irish. Pure Irish I saw in the EBC regionals last year. I believe it was 2020 that I actually had a chance to go over to the European region and cast, and we got to see them play with Angry Titans, the former French team. Then moved on to Old and Board that became Rework in Progress in Contenders 2021. So we saw a lot of Pure Irish last year, so definitely has the pedigree coming into this competition. Also has an 0-3 record in the World Cup for Team Ireland, but not to be undone. Unplugged representing Spain. Gavi, their ambassador, is also going to be a part of their team, and they represented Barcelona Manticores in the EVC as well. So definitely some high pedigree coming in here. We'll see, who's going to come out on top today. It's going to be Off Take versus DPS, I do believe, between these two teams. I think Unplugged has a little bit of the edge here going into that because there's some names from Ireland that I don't necessarily recognize. But that does not mean that they do not have the chance to come out here with the W on today. It is a 1st and 3. You're going to take a look at our brackets there and see how they got here. And, we're looking at it. I mean, the winner of this is going to go up against the winner of Jumbo Schreiner and SIU in the semifinals. So this is our last of our quarterfinal matches here today. And we will see who gets set up into the semifinals.
My goodness. I just got to be honest, I'm absolutely excited to see who's going to be working with it. But at least when it comes down to our map, it is going to be Ilios. Of all points that we start on, this could be what leads us series to a 3-0 or even further, because it's not going to be 3-0, all right? It never is. Also, playoffs. Who needs a 3-0? That's what I'm talking about, Billy, all right?
I mean, no 3 Overwatch today.
Yeah, precisely. Either way, I am absolutely excited. Both of these teams have been working extremely hard when they come into these matches, especially Unplugged, which had gone through a couple tough matches at least. But I do feel Eurospar, they got a lot more experience, They've been doing really well as the series has, this entire series has been going on. And just for them to come in, I think they have a little bit more of that edge.
Right, I think Eurospar definitely has something to prove here because Unplugged has been battle tested throughout this tournament. So we'll see what Eurospar brings to us here in today's quarterfinal action. But I mean, looking at Phage and Gavi, Gavi has had also the World Cup experience as well for Team Spain. So Spain versus Ireland today. Who is going to come out on top? Who's going to dominate the Atlantic Ocean? That's what we're looking to see for today.
Ooh, we haven't had Overwatch World Cup in like a considerable amount of time. I'm going to consider this the pseudo Overwatch World Cup to see people from different lands going up against each other. The Ireland versus the Spain, I got family from Spain, so a little edge, but no bias, at least coming from the casting side from me, especially you, and, oh, wait, we fit both of them.
Yay.
Wait, no. Yeah, exactly.
Yay. No, you could root for either team here. I have a personal feeling towards Pure Irish because I have casted him quite a few times. So I want to see, how he brings Team Ireland up here. But I'm telling you what, Team Spain, they've had just a fantastic run of show here in the tournament. So now we're going to head into our game. We're going to be going to Ilios, and the first map of the day, as I wait for it to show up here, is going to be Ruin. So definitely looking towards, are we going to see the Brawl come out? Are we going to see a long-range sniper come out? Or are they going to get up close and personal with some tracer play and maybe a little bit of Sombra hacking? This is Europe, so they play differently than what you're used to seeing in North America. The metas are slightly different across the pond. So that's what we are going to be looking for today, is how are they going to path onto the point? How are they going to hold it once they get there? And is somebody going to start taking scalps from long range?
You make an amazing point. EU obviously does not work as similarly as NA does, and especially when it comes down to how these compositions will work. You pointed out long range versus short range, and already these compositions are showing not only the diversity of what these teams are willing to run, but I think of how this fight is going to work down there. It's almost very similar play styles as they switch over from the Orisa to the Monkey, but I got.
Oh yeah. I mean, Unplugged right now out of Spain is showing us the zombie comp. You've got speed, you've got survivability. We're going to see if Conde plays this front line Sombra in this composition, or if they decide to sneak around the back and try and catch out people unawares.
Yeah, they do an amazing job. They're already looking to go after the Brigida and Zen, but with that boot, they have stopped this dive. Now we see Unplugged playing very dangerously. Phage wants to back out. They're peeling in. They do not want to engage in that fight, especially against that Wrecking Ball. So they move back to the point. They look for that capture, but it's already being contested with the hack onto enough. This is not looking too great. They don't really have the speed boost to engage just yet, so they have to back off. They have to take a second just to breathe. Pure Irish is bringing back the mech, so they're already looking fine this fight, going back into this big neutral, but once the dive is available, they start moving in. But once again, getting that hack, they are not able to get too much value off of it as Javi immediately falls down. They're taking so much damage. Sir Freezy being able to build up that coalescence with the pulse bomb in mind! Built so quickly to shut you down! I guess the dive just was not fast enough.
You know, they have the speed advantage as well, but once Gavi was out of the picture, that was all your mobility gone. And so they absolutely pounced upon it. 28% for Unplugged at their first capture of the point. But now you're looking at an EMP coming in. And if you catch enough with this one, you're going to deny the progress once and for all for this Death Blossom. So there it is, huge EMP.
Oh my goodness, absolutely massive as they take it extremely early and then look for the final survivors of Unplugged, which is going to be the tank line. And well, they just don't really have much to react on, though Conde built up that EMP at least. So we may be looking at a kind of an aggressive trade going on.
Right, and I mean, the big part right now is that GCB has got to stay out of range of this EMP to be able to pop Rally and get that Rally armor going into this next fight. Otherwise, it's going to be a very fast fight, especially with Coalescence on the line.
Look at them already taking that second to look out. Managed to get the EMP onto the tank line of Eurospar. Spear Irish just is not going to be able to live with this Coalescence as the engager. They're being able to peel in. However, Eurospar do not want to give it off, managing to find out the tanks. And, well, they're using that rally just for that security. It is looking like a very messy fight. They are not giving it up. The Death Blossom being used just to wipe out the mines. They being able to find out Waldo, but they lose their Reaper in that trade. It's still very much nobody's area because GCB is alive. The sound barrier is that factor, so they can now go after the Zenyatta. But once again, Nut just being able to live. Amazing peel, can I just say, coming out from the support line, though this Primal Rage is just bullying the Brigida, forcing them out. It is a little bit too late. It's Unplugged. They have nothing to show from that fight.
Man, what an EMP that came through from Conde, but I tell you what, GCB did exactly what I wanted them to do and weather the EMP and then pop the rally. That rally armor kept up the majority of Eurospar throughout that fight. I'm not even sure if Gavi's going to be able to touch here.
Honestly, I gotta say, they can touch, but it's what can they do with the touch? We already see them looking to move on to the point, but Eurospar, they knock out with the EMP, get the tank line. But done. It just does not have a mech to help eat up any form of damage. With their Moira gone, they are lacking. Though Conde, Nazi and people can't get back on the map! That's unfortunate. As we see, Eurospar, they clean up the fight, and they're taking the first point of Ilios.
GCB with the whip shot of the century there, denying the EMP coming out from Conde, and that's exactly what you want to see. The smart wherewithal to get that Sombra the heck off the map. They had already destroyed the translocator, and that is a map win for Eurospar. So maybe a little bit the underdogs coming into this match against Unplugged, you know, with two, or I guess it would be half of the old Barcelona Manticores coming in here and really fighting for their life. And Eurospar is just ready to go and ready to take it to them. Now, looking at the lineups coming up right now, looks like Waldo's going to go ahead and throw up the teleporter. I think they swap back over to the Tracer and then get that back out once they go through the teleporter.
Absolutely agree. They're going to need that speed, and more than anything, they're going to be looking to follow up on each other. However, Unplugged, they're playing a very interesting composition. We haven't seen a Torbjorn since Defran back in the Overwatch League, so with them moving out, they're going to be able to take out Fate immediately. They are just not allowing anybody from Eurospar just to look for a chance. So as they take their space, they're looking to stun, they lose their mech, but with the immortality, nobody's really going to die. This just matters onto the stall for the point. However, the moment anyone from Eurospar try to touch, they immediately get punished. Poor Waldo, you know, is mirroring it right now.
Ooh, kind of a weird pick coming out from Faith here. Bringing out the Echo into this situation, especially with the Torb turret that's going to be auto-locked on your face. You're going to have to be watching how they path and really recognize where that turret is at all times.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is they're not being able to walk in on Unplugged, having so much just CC sustainability. You know, everybody on Nero is terrified to just even peek. We already see Faith basically playing, you know, the size of a football field length, just not wanting to try and touch them.
I mean, it's all about how they're going to engage here. And, you know, once they get the turret down, that's the go sign for them to go, because they're going to have about 6 seconds to be able to get back into it and deal with it. Now, GCP has swapped over to the Mercy, so there's going to be a lot more survivability for this Echo.
They are taking their time. I think that's what matters the most. We see Unplugged in a very dangerous situation. That bombs the Engager, and they can't protect enough. That was a little bit of a peek, but it's a really big punish, because this is giving the confidence just to start walking in on them with Nut's own Transcendence. There is nothing to fear. It may have taken a lot of time, but it seems that Unplugged are finally going to fall from their safe haven.
Right, and I mean, it was the self-destruct coming out from Pure Irish that started that swap of the point here. We saw the pulse bomb come out from Waldo too. Waldo has been landing these pulse bombs with this frightening regularity here that we are just not used to seeing here from Tracer players. So, I think coming in the next fight, I think if you're going to look at Drunk Dino to try and get these binds on top of everybody, but they got to watch out for the Deadeye.
They have to play extremely carefully. Dunk's going after them with the mine, so that window is basically invalidated, as they can't stand to use it for very long. But the immortality, at least, benefits them a lot. This is coming in. Who do you even dive onto? When the Wrecking Ball is on your backline, they have to copy onto a Diva. You're not even able to immediately melt it down. Takes a second. You have to burst into them. Even then, you have to use that Shatter to look for their opponents. And, well, it's working to great effect, as Enough and Freezy, they're able to take out two. Though Faith and Nut, they even it out. It just seems Unplugged. They don't have a focus fire truly on a single target, but rather on the entirety of the enemy team, as Faith is just looking to escape. It's a stall on the point, but it's really not in Eero's favor anymore. They're still coming back into this fight wanting to win it, as they have the advantage. And look at that, they take out the Reinhardt, they're going after the Diva, and now the point is starting to recapture in their favor. Yet the Molten Core is still committed, as they want to stop anyone from touching this point. They're racking it up to 80%. Pulse Bomb into that Immortality, manages to break it, but it's not really going to stick onto anybody. With the window building up to Freezy, they are going to be having that aggressive ultimate, because they just continue to move in. Mine's built once more from the start of the fight, and look at that, it's an absolute mirror, as the Reinhardt has to move away. High noon being used, but not able to get much enough. Is still able to do more than the namesake, as you take out Dunk. Transcendence keeping up that Diva so they can try to move in, but they don't have control over the point anymore. They don't have any form of dive, and they're slowing down on these resources. Though the Echo's been doing a lot, their Zenyatta is caught out and finished off. It's all up to the Echo to try to just find a pick for a moment of awakening. But with the Wrecking Ball return, it's just, as I said, nobody on the side of Eero able to consistently stay alive. And honestly, it's a Day of the Dead as we see them fall. Unplugged, tie up the series.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a support diff there. I mean, you had the survivability and the burst healing coming out from Baptiste, as well as having that immortality field. And then we saw Gabby playing a very beautiful Brigitte, getting many stuns in there with the flail, getting the shield bash going as well. The armor from the rally absolutely holding up Unplugged. So, I mean, a little bit of a greedy backline for Eurospar right now, and I think that's the big difference between these two teams. You're seeing, you know, the Transcendence being built up relatively quickly, but it's just not enough to sustain throughout the focus damage coming out from Unplugged. So, you know, coming into this map of Lighthouse, you know, I would think to keep Waldo on this Symmetra and just set up the point.
Ooh.
Nope, it's not going to do that.
No. Yeah, no. Rather, they're not really looking to get onto that point. It more seems they're looking to take this rotation, go towards the edge. It's basically ordinary. We see it all the time. The Boop isn't able to get anyone off the map. It seems that Doug actually is the one who's going to go off the map. I mean, hey, I'm not judging the Diva almost following suit, but they can't really break into this one giant kill box of a Lighthouse. We already see the Conde using the Torp turret just to poke and stop. Faith falling closely after. It just seems Eurospar, they just don't have any room to walk in.
Yep, and that's where the Symmetra would definitely be an upgrade to what they're going on, because now basically you've got the Torp turret online. They can use the shielding, they can use the repair of that, and it's going to keep any of these, you know, more mobile characters, these CC characters like a Sombra, to come in and be able to just take and have their way. So you see the swap coming out from Eurospar. We're bringing in the long-range projectile of Faith on the Pharah. We're bringing the one-shot potential from Waldo on this Hanzo.
They're just looking to take these off angles. If you can't beat them, just kill them dead. That's at least the feelings that I have as Freezy uses that window, stopping anyone from pushing in. But, I mean, Faith is in the back. They can't really put their resources, so it's just free damage, and Faith is able to pump it in, almost take out Freezy, force the immortality. Enough. Having the high noon may be a little frustrated and say enough is enough. However, you're going to have to save it because the Wrecking Ball dives in, uses the mines. I believe it gets canceled as Nut uses the Transcendence to move on to the point. They're able to hide away from the high noon, so the ultimate isn't going to work too well until it takes out Pure Irish. With the boop off on the Diva, it's honestly just the end of that fight, as it seems Unplugged no longer have the heroes to stay on this point.
Goodness, and I mean, that was one fight, and look at both of the ultimates online for the DPS of Eurospar now. So Team Island has some engage tools here. They have some repel to come through as well. I just think that they're still dealing with the problem of having not enough sustain into these fights. You saw Nut pop the Transcendence to take the point, but now they've got to build it up once again.
They've got... The biggest thing is they've got to do something about this, Farah. I mean, look at the Reinhardt shield. It's broken. They don't have anything. They don't even have the high noon to at least put pressure onto the people in the sky. It is going to take a lot of time and rotations just to be able to break through. They're walking onto the point, but look at that. Their Baptiste is gone. The Dragon splits them up, and Conde, Reinhardt, they're following closely after. It's just not looking good, at least when it comes for the survivability.
No, I mean, survivability aside, this is actually really good. They're not focusing their attention on the point. They're going out and meeting Unplugged head on, using the ultimates in, connection with what they're pushing with. So, I mean, look at Drunk Dino. Again, almost has these mines online. You've got the Zenyatta's Transcendence to keep yourself up to the fight. This could be dynamic coming through.
They are using that bomb for that engagement. It's giving them a lot of space, and the Diva of Pure Irish. That's what you're looking for. But look at that. Barrage not able to do much. It just seems they're overwhelming through the Transcendence as Dunk melts down. Using a lot of ultimates, but it's working in their favor. The stall is on the point as the Valkyrie Mercy is looking to be as annoying as possible. I mean, I'll give you that. However, you're only really going to get that to 85%. The control has returned to Unplugged.
Well, I mean, it's Final Fight territory now, and, I mean, are there going to be any swaps coming out from Eurospar? I don't see it right now. Waldo's closest with an ultimate here, with the Dragons about to come online. But Pure Irish has got to get into the engaged, got to build up that self-destruct. That's going to be their initiator to get in there.
They're just looking for that opportunity, as you said. However, they are making sure to put any pressure on the Pure Irish at the moment they peak. However, this is going into last fight territory. It's make it or break it, and these ultimates will break it as the Dragons force the split up, take out, well, at least help the Torbjorn. And with that boop, it just seems Hobby is just not going to be able to do too much. They have to touch that point, being able to sustain on there enough. Finding out Faith coming in with the Deadeye, looking for these sleazy targets. Has to play carefully, looking for the 1v1 with the Hanzo. Gets the stun, misses out, is almost able to kill, but manages just to slightly do it. But the fight is on the point, and the Reinhardt is struggling. And yet enough is in the back line, killing everybody. I mean, you can't let that happen. The Farah is coming back, but it's already too late. As Unplugged, they guarantee they win Ilios and take the first map of the series.
Woo! Compositional differences starting to be glaringly obvious here. User, this has been a fight for the century here. They've put it out tooth and nail. Enough on this Cassidy. You cannot say enough about what that player did. Took out Zenyatta with a just assassination from about 10 meters away. Peeked around the corner, got the headshot, and then moved on in. And I think that if you keep Nut alive there and he gets on the point, you build up the Transcendence, you withstand everything that came on that point. Whew, priority picks are what we are seeing from Unplugged right now. They know who to go after, how to figure it out, and they take the 1-0 lead here in our quarterfinal match.
Could not have said it better myself. It was a very big play because obviously, as we saw, the Cassidy Conde was in enough. They were not necessarily in the fight. They were a little bit out. They were chilling, and then they walk in after a couple of their allies are dead and then just even up the score. That's absolute big brain play, or at least big brain mechanics to make sure that you're solidifying that chance. What matter most now, I think, at least as we're going closer into the future, is going to be the next map pick. It's very much going to switch the styles of what these teams want to run, and I've got a feeling that if you're Eero, don't let Unplugged play that composition again. They were knowing how to break you down.
Yeah, and I think that the support line is going to have to be where the changes come for Eurospar. I think that they have got to figure out single target healing is not going to work as well against the burst healing of a Baptiste. I mean, yes, you can get Inspire up with your Brigitte, but the Zenyatta, you're going for frags there. Yeah, you're looking at the Discord, working in on that, and then trying to get the fragability of a Zenyatta. So King's Row is going to be our next map user, and I mean, you can run the ball here, but I think you're going to need to run a little bit more Brawl to deal with what you saw Unplugged bring on the table. Phage was having a wonderful day as Reinhardt going up against the ball. We did see a lot of value come out from the ball though, so we'll see how they decide to path this and who takes which side.
I've definitely seen some teams prefer the Wrecking Ball composition solely for how annoying it can be, and
looks like I lost user there, so he has had a little bit of a microphone issue there, but I mean, I see the value of it. It's going to be a little bit more of a mobile composition if they do decide to run with this Wrecking Ball. So we will see if they can bring it together, see if they can get it on through. I don't expect Unplugged to really change anything up. I think running the Diva and the Reinhardt in the front line definitely was giving them a lot of staying power into these fights, also running with the Baptiste. So this is where it's going to be the rubber meets the road here for Eurospar. Are they going to go down to look at match point? You're back. I can hear you.
Ready for battle.
Well, I mean, if Eurospar stays with what they're showing me right now, they're going to have the speed, they're going to have the engage going on, and yeah, this looks like the ice cold comp coming out from Eurospar, previously known as the McFlurry. Looks like we're going to have mirror McFlurries coming on out now here. So this is where it's going to be. Who's going to get the better walls? Who's going to be able to get the stuns out and take care of the Reinhardt? That is the focus of your point, and also who pulls out their immortality barrier first. So Unplugged, I mean, you've got to hold space. You've got to look at the statue of Mundata there to be able to set your defense up and make your line in the sand saying, "You shall not pass."
Can't wait to see what they do when it comes down to this push. Working on the fundamentals, it's just gonna be who has the better composition usage when it comes down to these main walls, when it comes down to the speed boost, and more importantly, when it comes down to the brawl. We're already seeing a very nice high ground take, but oh, that's so close for Dunk Dino to die. With the wall, it's forcing them to play in a very uncomfortable position. Immortality able to keep on Unplugged for a little bit longer, and yet Euro, they want to take this full rotation. They do not want to face that head on. They're waiting for their May wall to come back in just for that chance to isolate somebody off as they move in. They find the Reinhardt looking for the bend, the hammer, but the counter wall able to block them off. It seems they're going to trade by taking out Dunk Dino, Pure Irish's mech, and I guess the rest of the lives of Eurospar, because they just cannot sustain themselves anymore.
And look at this, Conde swapping over to the Cassie instead of enough, which we saw on Ilios. And I mean, that is a done and dusted fight. Now, dueling, Deadeye's dueling windows coming into this next fight. The main tanks, though, for Unplugged have a 20% differential in their ultimate gaining. So we'll see a shatter probably come out from Phage first. We'll see after the walls come down how they path this. Well, looks like I've lost the user once again, so...
Oh, not again, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I pressed buttons by accident as we see that wall block off the high noon. though the Diva is in a very bad spot. Went a little bit too far. The Blizzard is there just to split everybody off and take out Dunk Dino. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, not allowing them to be able to do anything. And well, Conde, once again, shutting them down.
Wow, this has just been pretty impressive stuff coming out from Unplugged. Almost half of our time already off the clock. And now, you know, you're looking at self-destruct coming out from Pure Irish. You've got that going on, so you want to pull out Senior Freezy's Immortality Barrier before you let loose with that. You've also got the Blizzard, so 2 high-impact ultimates coming into this next fight.
Once again, seems Unplugged really favored taking that high ground. They placed that bomb, but not able to completely fall down. I mean, the Blizzard is placed in a very kind of interesting spot, but it does manage to take out the Reinhardt. They shut down Conde's own high noon and the sound barrier. That's really only gonna reach enough. Just seems Eurospar finally have what they've been looking for, control over this point. That first tick is there, and though there is a chance to recontest, I don't feel Unplugged really want to take it. They're as a unit as we speak, but it's pretty much too late at this second.
Oh yeah, it's way too late for them to recontest. Definitely want to hold up underneath the archway here. Maybe get a really good ice wall coming out of enough to cordon off Drunk Dino as they try to aggress forward. Looking for some tasty treats here. I want to see Pure Irish and Aid really get into this fight and start asserting their dominance over one another.
Yeah, Pure Irish is taking that fight. That was really dangerous. Almost lost your mech solely in a scuffle against a Lucio and your opponent Diva. I mean, that's risky, but hey, the fight right now is going to be looking into these windows. And the Shatter goes through and takes out enough! Oh my goodness, the aggression! It works in their favor, nullifying that window and hoping, well, not hoping, but securing the ability to move forward in Streets phase.
It cost them 2 ultimates, but still, you take that twice on Sunday, and now you can push forward, hopefully to get around the second corner. That is the real guess here coming out from Eurospar. Is can you get past the second corner? Can you get set up for a Blizzard engage here? Looks like enough is going to get there first. So, Pure Irish, do you have some flavor for a little bit of the Frosty treat coming through?
Seems the high noon is going to be the little bit of juice. Oh no, that poor bomb, they have to rotate out. They are able to, but the Shatter, it leaves the Lucio out. The Blizzard, however, is a perfect counter, shutting down the Reinhardt, counter throwing their own bomb, and that's just a beautiful cleanup. I guess Streets phase has always been their favorite as they sweep through it. They are going to capture that second point, moving us to third.
After being held to 1:30 on the first point, they have absolutely steamrolled through the streets. They got an additional 2 minutes on. They're looking at a hefty time bait coming in. They've got sound barrier to engage with, so I think that, you know, if you want to go on tempo and see if you can get behind the shielding of Phage, that might be the way they want to pap this.
You make an excellent point, but it doesn't look like they really want to do it. We see them backing up. We see them giving up that space as they want to rebuild their own resources. It's not something very common that we see. Most teams really like that aggression, so it is amazing to see Eero recognize their own mistakes and what they need to do. That wall does put them in a very weird position, but they have the sound barrier trying to go up against the Blizzard Conde. They do fall, and while the immortality keeps them up, it's not going to be forever. They just don't have the healing to sustain them through that Blizzard, and it does seem Eurospar, they're gonna fall, but I mean, they got some good ultimates out of that.
They really did. I mean, it cost them the sound barrier. They don't win the fight. They pull out the immortality barrier. They clean up after that. So now, you know, definitely the rotation is in Unplugged's favor. They can just really piecemeal how they want to go through this next fight. And I think you started with the self-destruct, try to pull out the nut immortality barrier, then go in with the Deadeye after that.
This push-in is very much going to be onto the Shatter because, well, Conde using the high noon speed boost, they throw the bomb out. It's just nullified. There's not much that they can do with it. So it's up to the Shatter of, look at that, but it doesn't even matter. As the Blizzard finds them out, freezes the sound barrier, able to peel in. Dunk Shatter misses due to the Maywall actually blocking them from being able to move in. They even find out Fade. I mean, that's a punishment if I've ever seen one, but Pure Irish wants to cause the problem. As you find two with the bomb, you find a third from Waldo, and now Unplugged. My goodness, their own strategy used against them.
Yeah, I mean, they weathered that storm very nicely. So, Pure Irish coming up with a massive pick. There's a boom coming from Gabby, though. The ambassador for Spain, the Overwatch World Cup veteran takes Waldo off the map. That is beautiful work out of the Lucio player.
And they have to be extremely cautious when it comes to this now. I mean, the window is there, and they're already pumping that damage. The wall stops them for a little bit, but at least it finds out Freezy, because that's really what you're looking for. But the Blizzard is always built from enough to counteract these pushes. Finding out Dunk Dino, you have no tank to shield you, and yet it seems Unplugged, they're going to be walking into that similar room with having nobody to defend them. It's now in Eero's own favor as they're looking for these picks. They're able to take out that Diva, but they still have Pure Irish, so they're going to be able to eat it up as Dunk returns back into the fight. It's up to the Shatter versus the High Noon as we look into this fight. They're able to block it out, yet the Blizzard, sneakily built, is coming in. They have it built. They're looking to just Shatter for it, and with the Rider gone, it's just there as enough falls down. The High Noon shoots no one, and it seems that bomb is just going to be a tiny bit of a dud as we see Eurospar. They're going to capture the point with 26 seconds.
Boy, Drunk Dino had a fatty shatty there and absolutely put everybody on their backs. So they weathered the Deadeye. The Blizzard helps them get there. They have time in the bank. Not a lot, but they still have time in the bank. So that is a very good push coming out from them. Unplugged are going to want to try and meet that at least. Otherwise, we're going to have a tie series on our hands. So looking at how they got there, I mean, smart rotation of their ultimates coming out of Eurospar. Yeah, they had a couple fights where they got stalled out, but really Eurospar just weathered the storms, basically. They weathered the old flurry coming from the old extravaganza out of Unplugged, and then they were able to push in on their own. You saw some beautiful individual work come out from Unplugged, but as far as team fights go, I think Eurospar had a little bit of the advantage going in their user. I think that's where we saw them really shine. And so we'll see here on the defense here for Eurospar, they're bringing out the Doomfist. So you're looking for the engage. I would rather see a Zarya here from Pure Irish being able to bubble and really enable that Doomfist going in. But we'll see what we got coming out here. We'll see if Faith can get any work done with a Nigerian pugilist as we get ready to see Unplugged come out on their offense. Looks like they're bringing out a little bit of different flavor than we saw last round.
I mean, I'm willing to try any smoothie that you are. Strawberry, banana, but this, you know, I'm definitely going to have to talk to my doctor about this one. Because the Doomfist is very much going to be looking for these high aggressive movements. Eurospar, though, that's what they've been playing all game, so I'm not too surprised. I'm more surprised by this rotation as they don't want to take this fight up front. Rather, they're looking to just jump over that small gap, play on the high ground, but with the fall, their Reinhardt drops down. They have to take it up front now. It's a very uncomfortable movement for them as Faith is looking for the dive. They take it. They don't get the initial punch, but they're able to escape pretty freely. The fight's there, and Dunk is dangerously low. Has to get that immortality, but you're forcing the side of Unplugged to go back inside their cubby and not look for what they want to. That wall blocks them off for a tiny bit, but the sun stops them from being able to move in. Javi then falls. Conde falls, and that charge, it basically falls into your own right. I guess the Doomfist's own stuns were able to help when it comes to securing this push.
Yeah, that's definitely an aggressor. They're going to go ahead and hold this Diva for a little bit. Oh, my word. Bye-bye, Aid. That's just unfortunate, but that's good. Ult charge building for Drunk Dino. I'm liking it. I'm liking the Doomfist pick right now, user. I think that you have the ability to get in, punch, get out, and reset. So Faith has been playing a very good Doomfist here. I think that the real pressure point is if you get Phage knocked up into the air, you can let all the extra damage come in from Eurospar.
I gotta say, Samito right now is absolutely cheering in his boots seeing this Doomfist work this cleanly. Though, having that jump there, that's not gonna be feeling too well. They notice the Doomfist very quickly, and it seems that Faith is gonna fall down. Samito no longer happy, but the Shatter may cheer him up as we see it helps take out the Reinhardt. They throw the bomb, looking to clear out enough, and though Unplugged, they don't have many, they're looking to just retreat. Don't stagger yourselves because they still have another fight to come in with.
Absolutely, they have both DPS ultimates as well. They're going to have both tank ultimates probably by the time the next fight comes around. So Waldo letting loose from that. Nope, he just, well, no, I guess he does go through it.
Yeah, it's a high noon versus the high noon. They're both looking to just find anybody out. They force a tick, and well, Unplugged, they have the ultimate to live up with it. The punch isn't able to do too much, but the bomb forces Pure Irish's mech out. It's a 5v6. The Blizzard as well. I mean, it's only going to make it worse, but look at that beautiful punch taking out Conde. Faith is able to escape, allowing Javi to be found out, and then comes in to take out the Baptiste and Doomfist. I mean, it was blocked. It didn't need to do that.
You love to see it, and that is the beauty of the Doomfist right there. Completely sneakily got around the back, took care of Conde, and then it was just full balls to the wall from that moment. Now, almost less than 60 seconds going in. Both support ultimates ready for Eurospar. Same thing for Unplugged. This is going to have to be the fight where they take it. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to get a point here.
Oh man, I don't know what I can expect because they lose the Baptiste and then the Reinhardt in the trade. Euro have not been in this position without that Reinhardt to help them. So as we see, Faith is already dangerously low, yet Conde is actually going to be the next person to fall. They do have the confidence to push forward with that wall and their own shield. They do have to touch, but it does seem they don't have the confidence to. Too scared. At least Unplugged, they're going to have a chance to move forward, and it seems they very much do want to move forward.
I mean, they're taking the aggressive stance here. They've got to push through, and they know because the time bank that Eurospar has right now, they've got to make a very aggressive push. I love the kiting back coming from Eurospar there. Yes, they give up the point, but they really do keep their positioning. They're going to be able to take a fight right around Bookstore by the time they all get back.
They're just looking for this damage at the moment as they very much want to move in with Faith, but the high noon counteracts is going to be a big problem. The Sound Barrier is invested, just ensuring that they can move in, and that's a rude punch, especially because Enough's own Blizzard gets eaten during the middle of it. Faith, I mean, they've got a lot of it within them, and they are making sure it works to the highest degree.
I mean, I asked earlier if Pure Irish was hungry for a frosty treat. Well, they got their Blizzard there. Kind of a bit of American humor here for Dairy Queen. But, you know, Pure Irish getting the value out of that. So that was their engage point, and now Enough has to build up another Blizzard to get in on top of this massive damage output coming from Eurospar.
Just looking for the fire strikes, but with that window there, Unplugged are in a very uncomfortable position. The Shatter doesn't find too much, but now they have the Sound Barrier, they have the confidence, they have the bomb going out, goes inside the Immortality. The Shatter is built, but they have to worry about the counter bomb inside their backline that takes out Freezy. Now you don't really have any reason to use this Shatter, especially because you're sitting there at 1 HP, taken out by Faith and the rest of your team. They need to disengage. Unplugged, they have just not been able to move out when it comes to the brawl.
No, they absolutely haven't. I think that running this Doomfist has put a wrinkle into what Unplugged were expecting out of them and just getting maximum value with the Nigerians. So, I mean, that's what they need to be looking at. Conde's got to keep that flashbang on cooldown right now and just wait for the engage coming in from Faith.
Look at this. Going in for that initial punch is scaring the side of Unplugged for a tiny bit, but it seems that they really want to back off. They are giving up so much space right now and control that I absolutely respect it. But they build up the Blizzard with the high noon. Waldo wants to take that early push, see if they can find anybody out. Almost takes out the Reinhardt, but able to just peel back in inside that Immortality. They use the Blizzard. It seems Eero actually just weren't expecting it. They're caught off guard. The Sound Barrier is used a little bit too late, in my opinion, because we do not see them anymore. They are just gone back to the Shadow Realm.
Well, I mean, they have a chance to re-engage. That's the good part about this for them, is that they have one more fight probably to get back, unless they decide to just hold it and make their stand on point C. I mean, they got almost 5 ultimates going into this next fight, so the Spanish squad definitely look better for the wear here. You do have the window from Nut. I think that they're just going to go ahead and secede this point here and let them have it.
I don't really think so. The Diva touches the point. However, I think it's just more if they couldn't touch at that moment. Dunk Dino is just going to fall very quickly after. Same with the rest of Eurospar. 4 souls. You know, they looked like they wanted it, but they just couldn't.
No, I mean, this is just beautiful work coming out from Unplugged. They got their priority picks in order. Everybody had their marks ready to go. Now, the difference is right now 40 seconds between the end of this point and where Eurospar ended up with time in the bank. So if they don't get it in before overtime, it's just going to be a one-shot opportunity for Eurospar to take this point.
Yeah, these windows and fire strikes, they're used at the same time. Unfortunately, it seems that Faith, free falling right now. It's a good song, but I don't think it's a good action. Is not going to be in this fight for very long. They have to throw the bomb, stopping PRI, but the shatter is just egoed on to Dunk Dino. Not going to be able to do too much as we see. They use the bomb. Doomfist going into the back, but GCB falls down. The Blizzard being used. They break down that immortality, and it seems to stun. However, look at that. Doomfist not as bad as you think. Able to take out Conde. However, it's going to be falling quickly after. They have less than 20 seconds on the clock. They have the advantage, and there's only a Reinhardt left. With nobody left to touch, they're able to capture. It's going to be a minute versus a minute and 11 seconds. Not too much of a difference, but really, this has been close to the numbers.
It really has been close, and I think right now, if they don't put Faith in the back there and go after the Cassidy, I think that you have a chance to hold the point there. You have a chance to get it down into overtime and give themselves that one-shot opportunity. However, this will mean that Unplugged gets the first chance to come out on the offense, and Eurospar will see what kind of a benchmark they're going to have to hit to take the point here, if anybody does at all.
I think you make a great point, but the one part that's on my mind is how far are these teams willing to go for just a map? I think we've seen opportunities where there's been a minute on the clock and teams have pulled it all the way, getting like 6-3, and I think a part of me is absolutely terrified because both Enough and Gonde, they've been doing absolutely amazing, but yet Nut and GCB, they've been alive for a considerable amount of time, and I feel that's just as much as the DPS shooting.
Right. Now, Unplugged is showing a little bit different of a look here. I think they're going for maximum damage coming in here and really going into that. So we'll see what I can feel out of this. I mean, they've got Phage on the Wrecking Ball as well. So mobility is absolutely game number one for Unplugged. How do Eurospar pull this back? We'll see. 45 seconds will be about the time to get in there. Enough as being the Tracer Nat in the back line.
They're just looking to force them into the hotel. I mean, you got to make an appointment first because look at this hero. They do not want to full commit just yet. They're waiting for their opportunity as Conde and the Pharah is looking to damage boost them. However, they lose out their Wrecking Ball, and then Conde is going to quickly fall after. It's all about focus fire, and it seems they have it with 20 seconds left on the clock. Billy, I don't think they have a chance to even push in.
I agree. I mean, I think Caesar Freezy is going to have to be the one that does make the touch, but it's going to be just a throw yourself on the point kind of move, and Enough swapping over to the Hanzo, trying for those one-touch possibilities.
Look at this. They are moving out. They do manage to get the touch and build up the window, at least when it comes for Eurospar. So they have a lot of damage on their own field. The Valking Mercy. No, you need to escape. Not fast enough. Javi goes down. They need to keep rotating when it comes down to this point as we see the Diva quickly take that damage. Gets the DMX, though the Wrecking Ball is able to immediately touch. I mean, nobody's going to be there for long, and well, I guess we're not going to be seeing any chance. This is going to be a full hold. And with a minute and 11 seconds, all they need is a tick.
Right. And I just think it was a little bit hopeful with the Pharah there. I think that you could have gone maybe with a Sombra, try to hack out somebody, especially the Reinhardt with the shielding. You could have gone with that. You could have hacked into a Diva. I think bringing the Sombra out would have been a better chance for them. But, that is hindsight 2020. So, Eurospar, they got 71 seconds to decide what they're going to go with, how they're going to address the point, and if they can get a first pick out. I really didn't like I felt it was a little disjointed coming out of Unplugged there. They were trying, running two different kind of metas, the long-range poke of a Pharah with the brawling Phage and Aid on the point. So, yeah, I think if you go more mobility there, I like the Enough Tracer. That was good enough. But I think if you would have worked with a Sombra, you could have gotten a lot more done. So Eurospar, they have 71 seconds to get what they can get here. Hopefully they get a tick. That'll bring them even here in our quarterfinal series. If they don't, it's going to be a draw. We'll move on to Escort after that.
I mean, if this ends in a draw, Billy, I'm going to absolutely go bonkers. I promise you that. That is, this series has been going so close in that I really wouldn't expect it. However, I mean, just seeing how these competitions are running out, I don't think it'll be that possible. We've seen how these first pushes have gone on, and Unplugged have held before, but we have to see what they do now. What changes do they make? Especially with Eurospar, they have gone into the hotel. They have taken that rotation, and now they're looking to at least build up that window for the initial fight. Already we're seeing this slow neutral brawl go in, doing an amazing job of shield juggling, but that Maywall almost catches off guard. It seems Duck Dino, poor soul, that's just not going to be able to do anything, and it seems they have to try and push in with less than 30 seconds, but with this immortality gone, they almost stagger their May.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be definitely hard work for them to get in now, but you do have, well, I mean, Breezy has actually gotten the better of this fight, pumping out that damage with the Baptiste. They have window available. That's going to be a definite stall breaker coming in for Eurospar.
And with the window built up for Freezy, Nut has to wait a couple seconds. They use it first. That's beautiful. You're stopping anybody from touching the point with less than 4 seconds. It's gotta be that Diva. Just wait, no, they just barely get it, but they lose their mech in the counter fight with that charge there. They pop the Blizzard, stopping anybody from walking in on them. We see the counter high noon coming in from Waldo, but it seems that it was more than enough. Unplugged, they don't really have anything. Conde's just hoping to use that shatter to break anybody down, but, well, it really only finds Pure Irish. They're able to trade out onto Dino. That's Bryce said as Conde's looking to make that hero play, but they have to continue to touch that point because it has second. It's gonna cap, and they don't, as Eurospar, they managed to take King's Row.
Woo! Okay, I thought that when Drunk Dino went down, that was donezo. And yeah, they flipped it. They flipped it in their favor in a hurry, my friend. So we are tied up in our quarterfinal. Good Lord, that's what you want to see coming out from this. It's a wake up for you, my friend. Because that was exactly what you needed.
Hey, I definitely gotta agree. Gotta make sure that I'm still here and present, because that was down to just a hero pick. Who was left? Conde had those picks. We could talk about the hypotheticals that were there and what was possible, but I've gotta say, absolutely amazing coming out from both sides. But Eurospar, they do not want to give this series up. Reminder, it's a best of 3, so to see them already tied up in this series, they're looking for these match points, and Billy, they are going all the way when it comes down to the series.
Oh, absolutely. But don't go away. We're going to throw it to a quick little break while we let the teams catch their breath. Let us catch our breaths, lubricate the vocal cords, and we will be back with you guys in just a few minutes.
The scuffle, maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map, even getting the melee. At least that goes to your full spot, full charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall. You're absolutely
up like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know. Not ideal.
So let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimates used. That is a lot. That's three mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds really to 15. You're equal, if not better than Habit. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that Diva. Hatu still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Habit. Stay up.
Rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Booty. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, you know, separated.
for you, babe. I've loved you the same this whole time. So tell me, what's on your mind? And I'm not here to hear you say you're fine. I can take the pain you hold inside. I wanna know, wanna see it. Can I feel your kryptonite? Can't get this off my mind. Does it only control you? Let me in, I'll help you out. I won't lose you this time. Can I feel your kryptonite? Can I feel your kryptonite? You think you're too far, but I'm where you are, you know. I said I won't leave your side. They left you bare.
Own Bob, but I'm not sure if they're even really necessarily gonna need it.
I'm sorry, did Winnie just go all the way? Okay. It goes off the map? Uh-oh. That's a big uh-oh moment. And Zonix said, oh,
Wow.
To block out a good amount of damage, does not save the Symmetra as they have to overextend to find anybody. Having one of the abilities behind him is a bright side as you beat the 3K. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, that is very true. But the rush is going to be on the menu today for Game Not Given. Ace looking for a slam, and they the Captain Crash. Jam follows shortly thereafter, and Ace is proving to be just that, an ace for this CU side. My God, they got 4 kills, but the sound barrier and the Transcendence committed is not going to be enough to stymie.
Just don't feel too great going off of that 1v1 and getting sniped, and you're at 1. The Dragons there to clean up the rest of the fight as your team just you get to the choke without too much of a worry. You see Fed's shield's broken in. Molly, no, the Diva. Oh no, not the Mercy.
He has this multi-4 ready to go. Enough. Has the sights as well, they're going to pop them. And with both these DPS ults online, there's not really much that Enzonix can do. And, you know, there's a great subreddit for that. It's called Watch Float Sombra Die.
Welcome back, everybody. I really hope you got yourself some water, because I've got to be honest with you, it was so hot that last fight. It was so quick and spicy that I ran out of breath. You know, I had to get myself some nice, H2O. And Billy, we're coming back into the series. We've got a moment to breathe, and we're tied up. How are you feeling?
Oh boy, I'm feeling very good. I'm awake. It's kind of early over here in the States, but I tell you what, that gave me a wake-up call that I needed. The Mercury, or the Cassidy show, has been very much online here, as well as the main tank battles. Pure Irish getting the better in the off-tank battles, so I was expecting that. We're gonna, kind of update you as well. CU going up against Jumbo Schreiner from Germany. They are up 2-0 on match point, and the other quarterfinal going on right now. So CU looking to book their spot into the semifinals. This is who's going to be playing against the winner of this series. So definitely a good look from CU, but we have to get our work going on here, and we have Gibraltar coming up next in our map pool. So we will see who comes out here ahead. It's 1-1. So now it's a complicated 1-2 user, and I mean, anything goes here. Gibraltar has its own unique caveats to it. Who's going to have the better Winston if they pull the scientist out?
I definitely have to agree with you on the idea that if they run it out. I still feel that Watchpoint Gibraltar of all maps, you have that Wrecking Ball, but we know for a fact we're not going to be seeing any Reinhardt. We know for a fact we're not going to be seeing any composition that we saw similar from Ilios. So, at least we have this realm of predictability where we can kind of see what point A is going to be on point B. But more than anything, I'm more feeling this is going to be a fight of the DPSs. As much as these tanks want to be able to dive in, I mean, Enough and Conde, they might be able to pick you out the moment you jump in, similar to Faith and Waldo. It's going to be a very scary matchup, especially if, we see that double bubble versus the initial dive, or maybe a Wrecking Ball versus it. It's such a triangle of what they might do.
Right, and I think that's something that we got to be looking at here, because Eurospar is going to be on the defense here, and we really need to see, how are they going to path this? There looks like they're going to run the double bubble, which I wholeheartedly approve. I also love having the Ash here. The dynamite burst damage that can come down, and having that 7th man in Bob could be the difference between them holding point A and not holding point A. Unplugged, looking at what they're bringing out here, it looks like they're going to bring out the Winston variant as well. I think you use the Symmetra here to get you across, not take any of that poke damage coming across. Conde will most likely go over to an Echo if I had my dithers about me, or they might go to a Tracer as well.
2, 1.
We're gonna have to see what they do. I feel Dynamite of all abilities is the most anxiety-inducing. Chipping your damage down slowly is the worst thing that can happen. But at least when it comes down to the best thing, we're already seeing the payload take that time. They do make for that dive. Faith is looking for... Faith was looking for the clip, just did not know where they were going, unfortunately. So they have to just back up for a second. But... oddly enough, this is where we're going to be seeing the dive take place. Look at that. The stun goes through. Unplugged Monkey. Dangerous. Got to be a little bit more careful because you can't fully commit just yet. But this is where we see Drunk Dino already look to move forward onto the support line, wants to, but is very unconfident to do so, especially when Unplugged, they are still, not pushing the payload rather, but moving into your team. Enough is just getting this free chip damage. Beautiful Dynamite, and Waldo doesn't have any healing. We see them now trapped Drunk inside that room. Without a monkey, they have nobody to help themselves. Waldo falling down quickly after. It just seems Unplugged, they're making the change.
Yeah, and I mean, the Zarya pick right now is looking a little bit weird. And by meaning weird, I mean they haven't been able to build up the charge that you need that Zarya to do. And Conde is just having a field day on this Tracer.
Oh! I was just about to start talking, but then we just see Enough get that beautiful clip in, and it seems they are going to capture that first point. The ultimates are now stacked up, but this stagger is the worst part of it.
It really is, and you've got Bob to initiate with if you really want to go hyper aggressive here, especially with the pathing that Enough is taking. Getting that burst damage once again with the TNT. I think you definitely have to get this nano out coming from Eurospar in a hurry.
Yep, look at this. They're already pushing in before Euro even get a chance to work as a unit, finding Pure Irish. I mean, they're not even going to be able to move out, and you're still going after them? The monkey just looking to do whatever they can, but already so dangerously low. At least you force them to back up. Either way, Unplugged have full control over this next fight. We're going to be seeing the ultimates getting prepared from Miro, but do they contest? Yes, they do. Using that rally, they have the grab. The anti does hit the Brigida, but with the nano, they at least ensure that they can move over. Both Bobs onto the point, fighting each other, leaving everyone else out of it, as we see Eurospar have the advantage. Pulse bombs trading it on targets, but look at that. Practically a C9 is Unplugged. They force it with the bomb, and they cap the second point.
They really do, but they do hold on to the Graviton Surge out of Pure Irish, and Pure Irish is starting to glow now. So this is what you needed to see, a little bit earlier, is getting that charge up. I think bubble management was a little bit of the question going in through this fight. It's Steven versus Zarya, so I mean, you've got a couple of things going in your favor if you're running the aid diva here. So really, they got to get something going on here. They've got to be able to stop this push. I mean, a little less than 5 minutes, user. This is a gigantic time bank for them.
it is absolutely massive. Even if they get held, they have so much time to build up 6 ultimates and just hit Q. Anything is quite possible, but we're gonna have to see the differences come out on Euro. Already looking to build up that high charge. They have to use that Primal Rage, or at least Phage just really wants to be annoying. Ronde wins that Tracer, and they use the Nano to keep the Monkey up. Now they punish the Zarya, who just wanted to try and play the game, help their team, going after Waldo just to secure that pick. And with 3 people left, they have to use the Nano. Go with the Nano Brig, and you're walking forward. However, Javi, they do have the rally, looking to just even it up. The Brigida able to live just barely by the skin of the teeth. Now they're moving in with a rally of their own, looking to stall for as long as possible. But look at that Waldo on the counter play, managing to take out enough. Rose the bomb before they die, building that sustain, but they have to keep touching that point, especially with the bomb there. Faith, really the last person who has that opportunity, as we see both of the supports start to come back. With them being there, and it's just nothing left. Faith, I'm so sorry, you had a moment, but it got destroyed. And now with the tanks alive, you have sustained yourself to hopefully stall out. You have the Primal Rage, giving yourself a lot of room just to continue to hold on, but it is still one messy fight after another as they're stopping anybody from being able to touch the point. That melt going on to Faith before they can look to slam down, but the D.Va is there touching the point, so they have a lot of sustained ability. Eurospar doing the impossible. They hold.
I mean, Raid Boss came out, the Nano Brig building up so fast to that rally because of it. That was the right play at the right time, and I mean, they absolutely have stalled this out. Looks like we've got a pause going in on the map here, so probably a disconnect issue. But I tell you what, they drew their line in the sand, 2.54 meters away from the end. They finally had a chance to get it out there. Even though Waldo lost their life with the pulse bomb, the bomb actually did do enough work to sustain them and keep them in that fight. Even with the self-destruct, Bob still stayed alive. So they got the value out of it. Now you're seeing a little bit of changes coming in from Eurospar. You bring out the Lucio for the quick touches, for the quick burst healing, and now they swapped over to a Mercy, so you're going to be able to get a person back into the map. I would rather see the Baptiste here, honestly. Immortality Barrier. Bring it out when they have a self-destruct. Bring it out when they have Bob going on. I think that's something that they can really look forward to. But, I mean, Unplugged, you know, they've got Nano engaged with Phage almost on Primal Rage here, user. This is going to be the fight that defines this map. If Eurospar can actually hold it through here and keep their nerve, I think that they actually take this all the way and they hold them at 2 points.
Honestly, I think you make an amazing point, especially when, you know, these teams, they basically have to have on-point focus fire to end these fights as quick as possible. You have that immortality there, you know, that's maybe 3 seconds or so where they're not looking at you, and that could be absolutely massive when it comes down to your support line, though. Eurospar, they're not struggling at all, at least when it comes down to the support department. The fact Nut was able to stay alive, make sure to build up that Nano, sustain the team. It has been an absolute pleasure to see, because Unplugged, well, they're not having those, you know, moments of being able to shine. The tanks are the tank and DPS are the ones who are basically hard pushing it, hard being able to carry, but the support line, they have to live. You know, I think that's where that Baptiste definitely does look good. It's very much a trade in utility, but I feel it may be worth it, especially in those last moments, because, I mean, we pause around maybe 3 minutes and 4 seconds, so wasting as much of that time bank, I feel, is the right resource.
Yep, I think that you got to waste as much time as you can here. If you're Eurospar, if they can pull it down to, like, you know, sub 60 seconds, that's got to be a win in their book right now. So, you know, hold out for another 2 minutes and 4 seconds, get it down to that 1 minute. I think that's a victory in and of itself. But if they are able to, you know, hold even longer, I mean, of course, that's what they're going to want. But the Primal Rage with the Nano engaged, that has got to be where they go with this.
Yep, we see the Primal Rage. It's already coming out, looking to just be rude to Waldo. My goodness, it seems they're going to be sniped out in the air with this fight being onto the point. The res, it's not possible. It cancels out the Nano onto the Monkey. It seems Eurospar were not ready after the pause, using a Nano on their own, but the Monkey's the last person who can touch. Not having the Primal, they have to look to do what they can. That bomb coming out of Pure Irish, managing to fall into the bubble, build that sustainability, but it's more than enough to allow them to regroup as a unit. As we see Unplugged, their Monkey gets antied and their D.Va's D-Mac. That's how you stop a fight.
That's how you stop a fight. That's how you win a fight. And that's exactly what they needed. I mean, Aid is just going to be staggered out, left to their own devices here. So I love the disconnect and the disengage coming from Eurospar there. GCP back onto this Brigitte. So you're looking to deal with Conde on this Tracer because Conde has been the flea in the back line that makes you just want to itch.
Look at this. They're taking this very slow. It's almost like looking at Reinhardt's go up against each other as they play next to these corners. But the rally, I mean, that's the sign if you want to just go forward. That Bob, though, it's just as annoying as possible. It's a good thing they managed to sleep it, stopping him from doing anything. But Pure Irish takes out the monkey. They lose faith in that trade. I mean, Eurospar, they have the advantage of it, keeping their monkey and now isolating and the Ash out. That's just not even fair for Soul. The Diva was there trying to just peel out, but it's just not enough. I mean, at least you find out Drunk Dino with that time bank, which was at 5 minutes when we started, is now less than 1:30. You get your own monkey back, so this fight continues, but it's not looking as shining as you wanted. The ultimates are still building up, Billy, and with this fight recommencing, we see the Nana be used on both sides for these monkeys, looking for the support lines. The sleeps are awoken. We see enough throw out the Bob, looking to try to take out Eurospar, and with that beautiful bomb, it 5-2. That was a Hail Mary if I've ever seen one. Manages to find them out of nowhere. And it's all up for Euro to just finish this as fast as possible if they have the chance. And, well, they do with the monkey gone.
They really do. And I mean, Waldo's building up towards another Bob. So I mean, 23% away from that right now. That self-destruct was everything that Pure Irish could have hoped for in that fact. So, Aid, self-destruct coming out. Do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the position to avoid the damage coming in?
Well, I definitely have to agree. Do they? These are questions that are being asked, especially because they switch over to the Orisa. So, well, they really want to move in slowly against this fast competition. Borgonde has the pulse bomb, places it down. Doesn't manage to find, though. That's going to hurt, especially in these last moments. Waldo throwing out the Bob, looking to just stop you from being able to push in with the monkey, moving forward with the Nano. That's absolutely beautiful as they take out two, looking for the Ana. And I can't believe it, folks. Out of everything, we see the Primal Rage juggling that Orisa, a big pound of mech. And with the anti, that secures them, knowing that they just full held around 5 minutes worth of time when it came to the third point.
Ultimate rotation, ultimate rotation, ultimate rotation. Eurospar always had the advantage in their corner user, and that's how they won and held out for over 5 minutes coming into point C. I said that getting it under a minute would have been a win in their book. Well, full holding them there on the third point, that is more in line of what they wanted to have. That was best case scenario. So now they have a definite win condition to put themselves on match point. Eurospar, 83.66 meters will get you onto match point. Unplugged. You've got to come with the noise here. You got to come with the fire. You got to come with the damage, because Eurospar absolutely held their sustain throughout the majority of point 3 especially. So we'll see. We'll see what Unplugged has coming into this next map. Running the same lineup that we saw before. I don't hate it. I think that I would put on a Mercy for the Ash. That would be the only change I would have. But it looks like they're going to try and, close control and close engage with Eurospar, get that Inspire up time, and just have Sir Freezy kind of waiting off in the back with enough, blasting down and pumping in that damage with the TNT.
It's a lot to live up to after that hold. Especially with the points that you're making. This is going to be extremely interesting to see how they're going to kind of counter dive. Are they going to play more aggressively? Do they want to look more passively? A lot of questions in the air, Billy, and I think that you may have guessed them already with your big brain. Regardless, we are looking to see how they want to more move in. It's no longer double bubble. They're heavily focusing on these dives, these quick engagements. We see them already jumping on top of the high ground, look for that counter dive. A poor boop onto Drunk Dino as they're going to be falling down on the ground. It is going to be a bit of a second, but Billy, I mean, it's a lot of rotations going on right now. How do they really engage? Both of these teams basically have nothing to do besides try to push that payload, and as they try to move back in, they at least force Phage off of that high ground. They get the anti onto the monkey and Ash, which is a big moment, but they don't look for that aggression, yet they still try to go for this slow neutral push as if Reinhardt's are just brawling into each other. Either way, there's just no hard engagement just yet. Until that nano is built, that's a big moment. Looking for that diva, but it's really huge just to stop them moving forward. They're not even able to go on to the support line to unplug. They just have to back up and take a second to breathe.
It's going to be Eurospar's nano engage. That's going to be the best here, and let's see what they got out of it. Oh, you get slapped!
Oh, on your resources. Now you dive onto the Ana and the Brigida. Thank goodness Faith was there to increase the dive, and yet we see Freezy live with, I'm guessing, 1 HP. Absolutely 1 HP, and yet we still see them falling down unplugged. They are finding the picks that they need as Conde finishes off Faith, and the Brigida is really the last one there who's putting up the hassle but falls down relatively quickly.
Well, it's going to be Rally engage here for the next fight. You also have Bob available from Unplugged, so you've got 7v6 here guaranteed as you go into this next fight. Pure Irish, I'm looking to see what they're going to be able to build out of this. Self-destruct will have to be coming through there, but Aid has a self-destruct of their own. This is going to be a dynamic fight in how they rotate these ultimates to get the most value out of them.
I definitely agree. I mean, ult rotations have been on point so far, at least when it comes down to Euro. So we'll have to see what they do going up against Unplugged's own unmatched ult economy. A lot of uns, but I'm definitely seeing how this fight is going. They are just taking this low pick. The moment this nano goes off, that's when the engagement begins, but they're waiting to see how much resources they can take down. They're prioritizing the Primal Rage, more of it, using the Rally Pulse Bomb kind of in the mix, managing to take out Nut. That was absolutely clean, as we see Eurospar not have that long-range healing anymore, but it's an equal trade on both sides. Not anymore, because Drunk goes a little bit too far, is unable to get a nano with no, well, Ana alive to build it up. Yet Eero are still alive to be able to fight this out. They have the monkey on the side of Unplugged, just being able to space it out with less than a minute. They are no longer a unit, and they have to back out.
Bob versus Bob fight coming up. Also, you've got nanos coming up for both sides. At this point, I think you throw it onto a raid boss. Let's see if you can build up a faster rally. I think that's going to be the difference in this next fight.
They're taking these long fights in stride. They're just taking their time. They have the Nano Billy. That's a big spot for Eurospar. They've done a lot with it already. So let's see with this last fight. It's going to be the fire to see if it burns bright enough. Not a missentence, but regardless, you just see this dive go in. They managed to get moved out. Bob going on to the point where we see the monkey get nanos as they're looking to go out. Still though, Eurospar, they're the ones who are going inside the backline. Unplugged are the ones who are just looking to stop the support from doing too much, but they have to jump back, go with their unit. That bomb lands into the middle. They managed to LOS it perfectly enough, but we see as once Drunk goes in for their backline, Eurospar, they go for their own. It's an equal trade on both sides, and they have to keep touching this point. Pure Irish's mech is going down dangerously low, able to get that healing, but it seems that they trade onto Unplugged's very own. Finally, Eurospar, they're getting the picks that they've been so looking for as they finish off the Baby Diva. Tracer's the last person who's going to be able to touch onto that point, but with a brig there, I'm pretty sure they're terrified of trying. And after that long fight, they're still showing that they are ready to go home.
They are not ready to go home yet. No, they are not, and they are looking at a rally engage on this next fight. Look at the aggression coming out from Eurospar now. They're moving forward. They're not allowing any high ground abilities coming out from Unplugged. This is exactly what you want to see. You want to see them hold top of shuttle. It gives them a top-down view of being able to go in and just absolutely crush in the fight.
Look at this. Similar to how we saw go onto their enemy side, they are just moving forward, making sure that nobody has the space to move in. But with that rally built up, you have to counteract with one of your own, moving in just to be able to peel for your support line. You stop Unplugged from going in as aggressive as they want to, but with the Primal Rage, they really say, I don't care. They wake up from the sleep. That pulse bomb misses. Conde is dangerously low, is going to fall down, calling out for the healing, but you are not going to be having any saviors as Nut dies too. The Diva Bomb, Pure Irish is going to get that equal trade in. They're just looking for both of the support lines, but, well, they get the Nano on to Unplugged Zone Monkey, so you got a lot of sustainability. You're able to go in. Drunk Dino, at least, can say that they're the better monkey living out in the long term, but not having your support means you cannot push back in.
Yeah, and such a low HP field for Pure Irish right now. It's got to get that out. Got to stay into it. Oh my goodness, the sleep long range from Nut. Are you kidding me? That is a sniper and a half. 3 ultimates, almost 4 ready to go for Eurospar.
I'm a slob. I need to learn lessons on how to be that clean. Just new levels of just talent that we're seeing coming out of these players, making sure that they have any form of advantage or second when it comes to these fights. Now, we see Eurospar, they have a lot of ultimates. They throw this Bob directly onto the second point, looking to just annoy them for as long as possible. The anti, it lands onto the monkey, but the Primal Rage is focused onto the support line, wanting to do just as much damage as they can. The bomb, well, more of the Primal Rage, it's going to be able to finish off Javi. The Bob is the one stalling the point, but the Pulse Bomb finishes off both of the support line onto Eurospar. That's just not good. Everyone else has to fall down. You have to reset, and that is going to hurt.
That's going to hurt indeed. I mean, this long-term stagger here on the Pure Irish, that's going to guarantee 10 seconds left. They've got to get on the point. Drunk Dino swapping over to the ball. They've got 5 seconds to get on the point. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
I mean, they have to. It's not a willing of if. It's a half.
Whoa!
Wrecking Ball lands a beautiful rollout. Manages to touch. It's the Tracer next. They get the Nano. They're looking for a beautiful slam, but the rally from Javi, that's a lot of sustainability and a lot of CC to melt down a nanoed Wrecking Ball. I've never seen it happen, folks, but I'm willing to see it again as Pure Irish. This mech is not going to be able to sustain for long term. With nobody else able to touch, we are not going to be seeing them stall that point. Unplugged, they once again take the lead in this series.
They go up to match point. That's the most important thing. It is now 2-1 Unplugged as we're going to head to, I believe it's going to be Assault next. So, wow. I mean, Escort going in the favor of the Spanish squad. They got to be feeling absolutely on top of Cloud9 right now, especially with what happened to them, the 5-minute hold on point C. They came out with fire in their eyes. They were pissed off. They were ready to go. They took it to Eurospar, and Eurospar had no answer to it. The nano engages were better coming out of Unplugged. Señor Freezy, que bueno maravilloso.
Ooh. All right. I mean, I just got rolled on. You just knocked me out of the air with that one. That was beautiful. Billy. My goodness. But, I mean, for a quarterfinals match, this is all that we could have asked for. These teams are going back and forth, trying to do the best as they can, Billy. But, I mean, you know, when we look to the other match, it's still going as intensely as possible.
Yeah, Jumbo Schreiner from Germany has brought it within a map now. They were facing match point, and they take the win there in map number 3 against CU. So we're going to look at that. I mean, look at the value of the Ash coming in between these two squads right now. Ash versus Ash, Enough versus Waldo. Waldo absolutely getting diffed there by the Ash of Enough. Now, the damage was pretty comparable, but the final blows, that's where I'm really looking at right now. That is almost double what Waldo had on the Ash. So, I mean, 31 versus 19, that's a 14 final blow difference. That's where you saw the real value. The long-range sniping with the aim-down sights, absolutely getting what you needed out of it.
I could not have said it better myself. You know, I barely passed pre-calc, but I understand how important it comes down to statistics. I mean, 17% versus 20%. Those aren't big numbers, but in the difference, that means Enough it's hitting a bit more headshots. It's making sure to pump in that damage a little more. I mean, that's why the eliminations and the final blows are the way they are. Enough is doing more than enough to help this team push forward, and that's something that you're looking out for the DPSs when your teams are, I mean, debatably equal when it comes down to not only scoreline, but how they're going into these matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fantastic work out of both of them. I mean, a 2,000 point difference in the damage. You may not think that's a lot, but that's 10 squishies. We saw the Dynamite take out Brigitte a couple of times, not able to get the Inspire healing up. So definitely target focus coming out from Enough on the Ash, knowing where to throw it at, where to explode it at, and get the massive value out of it. I think the Bobs were better out of Enough as well, even though we did see Waldo get a couple of really important ones, especially on point C. Right now, Enough just had the better of it. And like I said, I think the nano engages that came out from Unplugged, the Spanish squad, were a little bit better. They were a little bit more disciplined when they used the nano, really allowed Phage to get down quite low and then put the nano on top of them. So looking for the next map. I'm taking a peek here. We're going to go to Havana for our escort map. So this is a spicy pick coming out of Eurospar. I'm intrigued to see where they're going to go. How are they going to path this? What compositions are they going to bring out? I haven't seen an Echo yet. I want to see a better Echo performance. We saw it come out once on the first map, but of Ilios, but I think here Echo has such a great ability to contest high and low ground, definitely bring the eye level of a defense up. And of course, Duplicate is one of the most powerful ultimates in the game, depending on where you go with it. So we'll see what they decide to path here, what they decide to choose out here. So Havana, Cuba, bad back alley cigar deals going down in Havana. We'll see what happens here. If the Spanish squad are going to take it in a 3-1 victory, or if we're going to go to that coveted map 5 and see what they bring out here.
Man, you know, if it has to end on Havana, I'm glad it's Havana of all maps. It's a very beautiful point, and I definitely feel that you made an amazing case when it came down to these compositions. I mean, you know, going more in depth on it, at least, I feel that double shield, it works well. We may even see double sniper, be able to see those widow plays, maybe more high engagement dives, or going back to just that simple shatter v shatter brawl that was on King's Row. Either way, both of these teams do not want to lose this. They both want to try and win. Unplugged, though, I mean, with them on the defense, I mean, I think that's pretty good. They are at least going to build that moment and say, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be looking out more when it comes down to these supports, though. I feel while both of the support lines have been doing as best as they can, they just have to go above and beyond. You have to go into the realm of the Overwatch League. You have to do things that are just impossible, like sleeping a monkey with a 360 scope, if you want to be able to slow down these pushes.
I mean, it can happen. You know, you make a very good case. And I know that you do a lot of color as well. So, you know, I think that bringing the double shield variant out here absolutely can work. Now, what kind of a variation are we going to see? Are we going to see the Rhine Sigma, what I call the Celtic line? Are we going to see, you know, standard in the Orisa and the Sigma? I think it's going to come down to the DPS.
You know, I definitely think you make an amazing point, but we're going to go to a quick break as we get these teams set up. Never mind. It seemed before, you know, we wanted to tease you a little, I guess. We had to make sure that you're listening in, because I bet sure you tabbed out for a good second.
I mean, it's all going to depend right now. We're going to see Eurospar fighting for their lives here. Their game, their tournament is on the line here, user. If they win this map, we're going to take it to an overtime. I love the pigeons. This is one of my favorite characters in the entire game. Getting to see them. They're not eating the breadcrumbs. Nothing with the panuelos around here in Havana. So, you know, maybe a Cuba Libre could be in order for them a little bit later. Drunk pigeons are always a fun thing. But Unplugged are going to be coming out first, and they're going to bring out the Ice Cold comp. With the Cassidy and the May here, you're going to see the sustainability, being able to amp speed and amp healing. You got the immortality field. Eurospar, I'm so glad to see this. It might be the double shield coming out. Pure Irish has an absolutely disgusting Sigma. It's what I saw in the EBC. It's what I saw when I was casting across the pond for that tournament going on. They were part of the Atlantic Division. They got themselves into the regional on the back of some beautiful play from Pure Irish. Watch out for the gravitic fluxes, because this gamer absolutely nails it when they go in with a gravitic flux.
You know, it's always great to see, no matter the region, the compositions. Oh, no! My heart was played. I was about to give them some love. We're going back over to the traditional brawl. I mean, I'm respecting it a lot. You know, you're going for this full hold. You're looking to spawn camp them. So as you see this beautiful Maywall just isolate the way that they want to take this engagement, the Sigma is forcefully fighting the Diva. Immortality is going to keep Unplugged up as they were caught at the back end with the charge. But look at this. Shrunk Dino, dangerously low, has to have the Immortality with no shield. You're a free damage sponge. Get stunned, fan the hammer. I mean, you get the payload moving for a little, and you get the trade onto the Reinhardt, but you don't have anybody else to really kind of push in heavily for you. value. This is going down to the DPS. Look at that beautiful snipe onto the Lucio. GCP is going to be regretting that in the morning as they use the window, hoping to pump in that extra damage. I mean, it's 2 people left with the Reinhardt returning back. That's not going to get as much value as you want. Respawns are not in your favor, and that is going to hurt as Conde is going to get staggered for a little. I mean, finds out too, that's the bright side, but you don't really have the rest of the unit to push back in.
Yep, and that's the beauty of a close hold, is that you're going to have a chance to re-engage. They maybe just didn't disengage fast enough, didn't get killed out fast enough, but Unplugged was going to have at least 2 fights here going into point B. Deadeye available for both sides, but the Shatter is going to be the big one coming out, as well as seeing Nuts window coming out.
Look at this, the high noobs versus the Shatters. We're seeing them both kind of get blocked out. It's a bit unfortunate, but the Gravitic Flux catches out the Reinhardt in the slow freeze. They have to use the sound barrier, looking to build that sustainability after losing one of their own, but Conde just does not get it fast enough, so they're going to be falling out. Bomb Juice in the corner for that rematch. It breaks down the shield. That's going to be the plus side, but we already see Drunk Dino moving back into this fight. So enough. Looking for that stall. Has to go back into cryo freeze. The Reinhardt returns, gets fanned. The hammer. They pop out the blizzard. That's going to capture everybody who was diving in on them. But look at that beautiful counter blizzard. Plus with the sound barrier. I mean, that's a one-way insurance to have sustainability for Unplugged, not knowing what they can do as they slowly crumble down. They are on the right side getting an amazing stall, so forcing that time back into a less optimal position.
Faith playing
That was
games
just
with their
rude.
dinner. That was a May diff right there, and yeah, I mean, Faith had fun with their dinner there, and now, you know, going into this next fight, Pure Irish has almost built up to another Gravitic Flux. This is something that they're going to have to be very cognizant of. Unplugged, Shatter can be an initiator for the defense, but I think you're going to get around the corner here with less than anything coming in their face.
Look at this, the High Noon with the speed boost and force out the immortality. That is a really
Oh my
nice
God!
Shatter though, as it cancels out with the Gravitic Flux. Look at that. Finishes off everybody, was just moving in. Counterplay versus counterplay against Eurospar. They have it in the end.
Oh my God, Pure Irish is absolutely unleashed here. Absolutely taking it to the members of Unplugged. This is what I was worried about. This is what I was hyping up. This is what you want to see out of your off-tank player, Pure Irish. Absolutely dominating in the fight.
And this is a moment for Unplugged just to take a quick deep breath. I mean, you're moving fast in, and look at that, your Reinhardt is caught out all alone. You have to use that sound barrier. You have to use that high noon, hoping to pick anybody up, but you're stuck inside the small room, frozen and caught in the blizzard. Drunk Dino at least is going to be punished. Now we see Unplugged moving forward. Beautiful Maywell up as they're looking for that Sigma, and yet Faith is looking to shut them down. That did not get eaten, and they're pushing that payload as far as they can, but it's just not going to be working as we see them slowly get taken out. Eurospar now with the high noon. The May has been the distraction that they're looking for. Freely able to escape. Waldo is looking Red Dead Redemption as you take out SR Freezy. Now Unplugged. The Reinhardt split off from the support. They don't really have too much. Now they have to back out. They're in a very uncomfortable spot here, Billy, as we see the wall, hoping just to allow them to escape for a little bit longer. But with their Diva being DMAC, it's not working as great as you really needed to. And well, Conde, really hoping that you reset soon.
Woo! A lot to unpack there. I mean, Pure Irish got stunned out of their Gravitic Flux. So, I mean, you kind of get a win out of that, but already halfway to another one. So, Shatter ready to go from both sides. The sound barrier is going to be huge for GCB, especially if you use it on tempo. We'll see how they decide to pat this out. Conde has been a thorn in Eurospar's side. They finally do catch him out, and we'll see what he does here on the corner.
Look at this, both windows using these very long sight lines, or at least giving, I think, more of the attacking side the space to just push forward, especially with the Reinhardt. They have to have that immortality just to be able to escape on the trade. They build up to that sound barrier. They use the Shatter. It gets blocked, and they lose out their own Reinhardt. They use the High Noon, manages to take out Faith, and the sound barrier keeps them up against the Gravitic Flux. But look at this. Enough throws in the blizzard, so nobody can even walk in on that. It's a very unfortunate situation for Eurospar, but either way, they are going to have another chance to push in, especially with their Shatter of their own.
Boy, Enough is getting a lot of work done on this May, and that Blizzard was absolutely massive coming in, stopping the aggression coming from Eurospar. So now Drunk Dino and Faith have an opportunity. That's a huge pick, priority pick from Faith. They're no longer having the speed engage or the speed disengage to get out.
Looking nice, the Blizzard being thrown against the May, almost walling off your Cassidy there. Careful now. You don't want to cause an accidental team death, especially when your team is already getting staggered enough.
Yep, and there goes Aid off into the Abyss. This is free cart push right now. You're going to have the Shatter available to Drunk Dino. They can stop the aggression right there. Pure Irish already building up to almost another Gravitic Flex. I told you this gamer was absolutely massive on this character. I still stand by that 100%.
I agree. Look at this. The window is being used. Drunk Dino Goats tried to make the play. Did not work out as well as you want, but at least you get that charge out. Looking to melt down that Reinhardt, and it worked. It just seems nobody's going to be able to touch as Eurospar. Similar to how we saw in King's Row, they managed to cap with a good time break, 1:25. Unplugged, though, that steam that they were building up from before, I don't feel it as hot as right now.
I mean, Celtic Pride is difficult in the best of times to deal with as far as a tank line because you've got the CC ability of an accretion, you got the kinetic grasp, or what we call the Sigma Suck, going on there to mitigate damage and build up that shielding as well. And then you've got the experimental barrier. Whew, that's a lot to deal with if you are a defending team. So Eurospar could theoretically run the same comp here and have just the same amount of joy. Unplugged is going to have to think twice about what they come out with here, user, and I think that they've got to figure out how to take care of Pure Irish, because Drunk Dino, while doing a pretty good job, that was the Pure Irish show there on attack.
Yeah, I have to just give that to you once again, solely because, you know, they were just able to continuously move forward, and maybe that's just due to the aggression of just Drunk Dino throughout the entire series, but Pure Irish was stepping up that game when it came down to peeling and helping their team have that sustainability and have that room to move forward. You know, Waldo, Faith, they've been a little bit more underspoken, but they were definitely doing the best they can. But now when it comes down to this full hold, I mean, that's the difficult part, I think. It's just seeing how much of a time bank you can melt down.
Right, and I mean, we're going with Ice Cold both sides, so we'll see speed engages. I mean, I like the fact that they're going to bring it up here. You just got to watch out for where the May wall comes out.
Yep, look at that. They're moving all the way on the right side, trying to check, you know, their inventory, but they get walled off. That's not going to be looking good. Has to use that immortality to keep up the sustain for that tiny little bit, but it seems Eero, they're the ones getting frozen. They're the ones losing as they take the May vaults first. Now with them not having their Reinhardt, it's just an immediate brawl as Unplugged with the confidence of 1,000 suns. They're going to be able to almost take out the Baptiste. It calls for a little bit of seconds of wasted, but they managed to finish it out relatively quick.
This is exactly what they needed, Unplugged, to get moving on. Conde almost has the Deadeye already. So going into this next fight, Window, Deadeye, I mean, pump the damage through that. You're going to crack a shield in a hurry. The good thing for Eurospar is that they're going to have at least 2 fights here. That's the beauty of what they did holding so close. They're going to take a minute off the clock here. But look at the rotation from Unplugged coming up into the small room above the hotel here and absolutely taking damage into Eurospar.
Yep, they look to take that high ground, but the Reinhardt has to contest that point. Beautiful wall, stopping the window from getting as much room as you wanted to, and look at that! Unplugged Shatter finds out the main. They're able to continuously move forward without a care in the world.
Yep, and I mean, they absolutely win that on one team fight. That's a big fight win there for Unplugged. So now you're going to see the aggression come into the distillery itself. He's going to be looking for fire strikes to build up to that next Shatter. Window is going to be a great initiator for Eurospar here if they can get there.
Make it great point. Although they do have a stall and they want to go for it. Using a window outside this room. The bomb is the one that's being annoying as it manages to find out. Faith was caught a little bit off guard. The sound barrier at least. Well, never mind. They just don't even get that chance to touch. We're forced in a very uncomfortable spot on top of the stairs. And now, it seems that Unplugged are the ones who are speeding up on the aggression.
Yep, and I mean, team fight versus team fight. I think Pure Irish here needs to go in with this self-destruct, pull out the resources from Unplugged, and then see if you can land down a fat Blizzard and just take a team fight win, because they were not stopped very well throughout the distillery. That's where Eurospar is going to have to make up their time here.
Look at this. looking to just get in that small bit of flow. Conde has the high noon, maybe looking to use it, but with that wall, it's in a very uncomfortable spot. Eurospar moving forward, but look at that, Drunk Dino gets walled off. Luckily though, everybody on Unplugged, they look for the rotation. They are not there to be able to get hit. The Diva though, overextended, is going to be punished for Irish. Has to use that bomb solely to get that remag in, as we see the wall go on to Drunk Dino with the sound barrier. As Surface is going to be falling off, they have to win it, if at all, because Faith has taken out Conde. They've mostly traded in when it comes down to the tanks, and yet they are not going to be able to secure this fight. No ultimates invested needed because they just have to reset.
Ultimate is charging.
Yep, this is exactly what they needed. They needed a chance to get a couple of entry frags going in, clear out the team fight, and then deal with everything going on from there. So now 4 ultimates ready to go for Eurospar, 3 ready to go for Unplugged. This window's going to be big from both sides. The dueling blizzards is what I'm really looking at.
I have to agree with you. I mean, I really like this window, especially with that charge combined to it. You stop them from even being able to walk inside to push, and I mean, that's what you're looking for when you're Spar.
Gabby's going to go down there too from a huge fire strike coming out from Drunk Dino. So now look at this. Close hold once again.
Ooh, wait, Billy, they're not only going for a close hold, they're going for a very rude close hold, as we see both the Reinhardt and May. They're not only looking for that wall off, well, you know, they get punished. The shatter, I mean, it goes through, but you get stunned out. That's a bit unfortunate. The Blizzard still manages to capture everybody inside the room, going all according to plan.
Well, yeah, Ada getting what they needed to. That's the team kill. That is exactly what they wanted to have happen here, and now it's still backwards progress on the cart. Almost a 6-pack of ultimates for Unplugged here, user. Self-destruct, the only thing online right now for Eurospar. That's still a chance for Pure Irish to get back in the mech and get back in the fight.
Look at this. Once again, they do have to back up, not having the unit to be able to push forward. I mean, full of respect as you just look to make that room. You use the window nut, but you do manage to bait in the Diva, who gets demech, but uses that bomb. Drunk Dino falls off, was a little bit too far out of his own team's LOS, as we see. Unplugged, they managed to take out the Diva and control the high ground, stopping that May from being able to do too much. There is going to be room for another hold, but still, Unplugged, they're bringing it back.
Conde is having a hell of a match right now, getting lots of damage pumped in. Enough, and Conde right now, DPS duo, absolutely carrying their team on their back. Senior Freeze's got to get an honorable mention in there with some well-timed immortality fields, but they do have a fight here. Eurospar do. They can get on the point. They can let loose with the self-destruct. They can really take the tempo out of Unplugged right now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Look at this. They use that window. I don't truly see where it is. The fight is on the point. Drunk Dino has the advantage until that Blizzard forces them into a small cubby. Kicked out with no one else to help. Unfortunately, Faith is going to be following quickly. They have saved up so many ultimates, not even having a chance to use it. I guess it's all going to go down to the 3rd point.
Well, I mean, I can see the smartness of holding on to self-destruct there. It's going to buy you at least another fight here on point 3. Now, they have a minute 56. We see the time of Eurospar 125. So they got 30 seconds to finish it up here. They're not going to do that. There's too much CC, too much to hold them back. So it's all about finishing with some semblance of time for them to get any kind of a useful push going on the overtime areas.
Look at this, both the high noons use, and yet it seems they are equal when it comes down to just doing that damage. Eurospar, they invest the sound barrier though, gives them the advantage, and they're able to push forward, stopping this hold for as long as they can. I mean, a minute less is when the next fight's gonna be happening. That's what you're looking for.
And you got Shatter. You've got the Blizzard to hold them out as well. So, I mean, this could all go according to plan for Eurospar and take us to a coveted map 5. You want to see that happening here in our playoffs in the quarterfinals, and that's what they're hoping to get out here is get that map 5, go to another control map.
Look at this, using that window in a very nice spot. They go for the shatter on the stunned Rhine, and it lands beautifully. Pure Irish, though, going for that bomb. The Blizzard, this isn't to just confirm the win. This is to stop them from even getting a second on that cart. And I mean, it works well. The Diva is still able to pick people off while Waldo pushes off enough. But look at that beautiful stall.
Yep, and I mean, now they've got less than 40 seconds here moving in. They've got 4 people on the carts. They've got the self-destruct. They've got the sound barrier. They're going to have Blizzard in this next fight. Blizzard could win them a fight, and then just pushing in on sound barrier alone might be the way they get through this map. 23 seconds and counting.
This, as they move in, this is a fight forced into overtime. You cannot lose it. We see the aggression with the bomb. It goes a little bit too far as the sound barrier is able to sustain for a little longer. That sound, the shatter lands, but look at that, enough uses the blizzard. It's going to help secure this fight. Not too much to worry about. Now you just have to stay onto the cart. You can't lose a second. With the high noon Asher last for insurance. Billy, this is terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it's winnable. It's winnable for plugged in or unplugged. You've got the self, you've got the Deadeye ready to go in here. GCB could theoretically build up. Oh, what a wall coming out from enough. That might be just enough for them to get there.
Now look, they're being able to push in. The final boop almost knocks them out, but look at this, the Reinhardt on Unplugged. They fall down. They have to make a hero play when it comes down to sustaining and playing far back is not what's good. As we see, Eurospar put in the aggression. They move forward. They end this fight absolutely quickly. And unsurprisingly, the hope and dreams that we've all held on map 5, both Spain and Ireland, they're going the extra step.
Yeah, I mean, this is a knockdown, drag out, back alley brawl, and you saw Eurospar come out on top. So Team Ireland absolutely owning it in here. This is the beautiful shatter into the blizzard. They have small room, nowhere to go, and they got the full value out of it. They got the fights that they wanted to win. They had the resources to win those fights, and now, you know, we're going to map number 5.
Oh my my heart is just pumping. You know, when we started casting this, we definitely said, you know, not a 3-0. You know, that's something that we never expect, at least when it comes down to the quarterfinals. And I've got to say, both of these teams have been putting it up. But Billy, last map, we go back to Control. We saw how Control went from before. It was back and forth, and I only think it's going to get tighter.
It is going to get tighter, and actually they have their choice going in here, and they've actually chosen Nubani to go to. So that's kind of a spicy pick. Looking at the, looking at you know, the Cassidys here and Waldo, both Waldo and Conde, so even between the two. I mean, there is not much to separate them. I think Waldo maybe gauging out a little bit ahead in the final blow department. The weapon accuracy is huge. The critical hit accuracy is huge. But I mean, look at that. The damage done, less than 300 points separate them. So that is just absolutely disgusting coming out from both these Cassidys. You love to see it, and we're going to go to map 5 now.
Definitely agree. I gotta say, these statistics are too close for my own comfort, because you can't say that one was doing better than the other. It just go down to, you know, both of them going that extra step that we expected them to do and making sure that they solidified their chance. Both of these teams, I mean, there's just nothing more to say, because I'm so frizzed on my brain, although I am very excited to see what's gonna happen. But you make sure, stay tuned in, and I mean it. Look me in my eyes when I say this, okay? Look me in my eyes, because we will be right back after this quick break. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had that well-needed break. These matches, I mean, these teams, more of it, they've been going back and forth all day, and they've been making sure that they've been trying to do their best. And I gotta say, they've been going above and beyond, especially when you look at their next opponent. One of them, you know, Billy, one of them has a chance to continue going into the series. And I mean, look at one of their opponents. Already.
Yeah, it's gone final. And Jumbo Shriner completes the reverse sweep and books their spot into the semifinals versus either Unplugged or Eurospar, Ireland or Spain, going into this next round of the semifinals. And full credit to Jumbo Shriner not giving up, getting that reverse sweep done. And now we head to Numbani. So Numbani is going to be where everything is settled here. Whew, first point if you get it. You know, that's the real test right now. If you're going to be able to get the first point, then after that, you know, going through Streets phase, if you have enough of an ultimate rotational advantage going into the Streets phase, you can absolutely cruise through it. And then point C is, of course, favored very much heavily in the form of the defense. So we will see what happens going on here. This is going to be a fantastic fight. This is the get into the semifinals user. It all comes down to Numbani.
You know, of all the maps to pick, out of everything, I was not going to be expecting Numbani. There's a lot of people who just do not like it. You know, they spit on the ground, but I expect this to be as close as possible. You made a very great point of if you're able to capture that point. I don't know how many teams genuinely scrim this map, so I worry they may be out of practice, and especially when it comes down to the compositions that you work on, it can definitely be a little bit questionable. You have a lot of high ground and spacing for the first point, so that dive is like optimal. But I mean, Billy, we've seen how these teams work. I don't think it'll be that easy to guess.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking, oh man, Torb is a very good pick here. Because you've got the aerial threats that would be taken care of. You have Molten Core. You've got, you know, once I said, you know, the turret once again. I mean, it just depends on what Eurospar wants to do in defense here. And I would expect Pure Irish to actually swap over to the Sigma here. Running a split defense would be the way to go here, especially with how good Pure Irish can stay alive in building those the shielding back up. But it looks like they're going to stay with the Diva here. So you've got some brawl ability, you've got some sustain coming out from a multiple target healer in Nut, and then you're looking for some fun. You're looking for those dragons to come up from Waldo. We saw Waldo play the Hanzo earlier in our series. It had lots of great value on it. So we'll see. The Hanzo May here, definitely an interesting choice. Enough showing us the Echo. Am I actually getting my choice here and seeing an Echo come out? I believe we are.
Oh, they want to make sure, Billy, that they make you smile for this map. They're looking at you, they're winking, and they're saying it's all about family, because it's all about going fast with this dive composition. A little bit fast and a little bit furious. Had to go with that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Eurospar, though, they are looking on a beautiful defense. They are completely split on each side of the higher ground. So who do you truly dive here? You know, it's a lot of questions that the players are asking themselves, especially as we look. The monkey went to Wrecking Ball.
Yep, that's going to be mobility. That's going to be also the dislodging variant here coming out from Unplugged. So, you know, we'll see what they get value-wise out of this. Good sticks coming in from Enough there on the Echo. I mean, looks like they're going to try and touch the point here. They're going to be able to touch and get movement in on top of the point. So they had a little bit of a feint onto the point. Their progress is going bye-bye. Big touch from Nut there, taking down the main tank.
Absolutely beautiful. As you see, though, Conde is making sure that that Diva does not have a mech. It's going to be hard for Spar just to be able to touch that point until the Orisa, as you see, touches down. But even then, immediately gets headshotted. Nut is having to put in so many resources to help that they can't even touch the point, meaning they have to go for this rotation, and in that meantime they lose out on Waldo. That first tick is oh, you poor soul. Why did they had to switch on to that moment? That's just rude.
Yeah, they've got to touch too. They can't sit up here and just touch. I mean, they're gonna have somebody touching at the point. Look at this duplicate, huge.
Look at that. They just walk in. Just shield with their own might, build up a bongo of their own, and now they have damage boost. They don't even need the Wrecking Ball there. Moving in with that touch from the May, it's just not even fair. The Brigitte having to do their best just to be able to sustain themselves for a little bit longer, eventually falls down with the Dragons trying to find anybody out. That's just a little bit of hope, and it's not enough. The last person on this point is going to be that Orisa, and it's just not for very long, even if Waldo's able to find the 2 picks. I mean, look at that, the Mercy's still there, the touch is still there, and they captured. They're going to be able to push it further.
Quick adaptation coming out from Unplugged, and they have absolutely opened up this street space. Now, they have an ultimate advantage in the form of 3 ultimates, almost 4 ready to go. Nothing online for Eurospar here, so look at this. Changes coming out right away. Waldo going back over to the Cassidy. I think you deal with the Echo from Enough with the Cassidy. You've got the hit scan going on there. And Faith, you know, being able to wall people off with the May. That is what we're looking at right here. Divide and conquer plus the headshot ability of the Waldo Cassidy.
I definitely agree. Look at this. They're just taking time, looking to scout. This is more of just when Unplugged want to engage rather than Eero, as we see the Dragons looking to split them off, forces the immortality. That was actually beautiful. It was directly in them. Unfortunately, they were able to survive as we see the Transcendence. It's forced out. They throw the bomb. They take out Gonde. The lot coming at least from the side of Unplugged as they continue to move forward, but they don't really have the consistent healing, so this Blizzard is going to be devastating with that window in their backline. Takes out the Zenyatta, freezes the front line, and forces a reset.
Yeah, this is finally them getting their foothold here in street space. So while they are going to go ahead and stagger out this poor baby Diva, well, maybe not. Yeah, I guess they do get it done in the end. Gabby going back over to the Brigitte. They had the Zenyatta of Senior Freezy going on. They completely swapped up their tank line once again. Well, they swap out the Orisa for the Winston here. So now Nano Engages are going to be the flavor du jour as we see, you know, Conde once again just pulling in the damage.
Look at that, they're moving in with the copy just to be able to build up this bomb, and it's doing absolute work. Everybody on the side of Unplugged wanting to move forward until eventually it's broken. They have to keep touching that point on the side of Spar, and we see the remake interesting animation as they continue to go out. The rally from GCB plus the high noon forcing everybody off, but it puts Javi in the worst spot, gets punished for it, and now, well, it's looking like another reset, another moment to take a deep breath and figure out who do we go on.
Well, I mean, you've got 2 hit scans now. You've got Faith on the Tracer. That's going to be the annoyance factor in the back. You've got Waldo landing headshot after headshot and just making life hell for Unplugged. So great adaptation from both sides here, user. Now it's all about being able to push it in and going on to point 3. They've taken off 2 minutes off the clock so far.
Definitely agree. They are playing relatively far back as we see the dive go in. But, I mean, the Dragons are looking to force them into a bad spot. The Nano doesn't even get too much room. You have to walk in onto that bomb. Just barely able to escape from Pure Irish's own devastating might. Having to use one of your own to be able to move in, breaking that shield. Drunk is still perfectly fine. Beautiful pull's gonna help them. The anti, that's what you've been waiting for. Now you have to rally to be able to move further, and they have to touch that point. The Diva almost immediately melted down. Has to just basically let themselves fall apart. It seems Unplugged, they are going to be able to capture this second point with roughly around over 2 minutes, but this is still forced out a good stall.
Oh my lord. Conde and Enough absolutely went ham there in the last fight. So they're going to have both the DPS ultimates going into this next fight. Waldo, though, has the Deadeye online. Can they get in a position to figure out where they can get the maximum value out of this? They don't have really much to defend against it other than a flimsy Winston bubble and the defense matrix of aid.
Yep. They are, however, looking to switch it up a bit. That Torbjorn for the extra poke, I can definitely respect it. The monkey jumps in behind. You get the copy as your backup Diva, but the window is looking to damage you up. They do use the Dragons, forcing them into a uncomfortable spot. No, they'll kill GCB. They have to use the rally just to be able to survive. They were caught all alone. We see Enough throwing in the copy bomb. It's out, but it falls into the shield. It's not going to be able to get too much Unplugged. They're going to be falling down, but they're getting eerily close to that capture.
They really are. And I mean, we see changes once again coming out from Unplugged. Now Phage bringing out the Reinhardt. So definitely more stability going into that line. They also see Cedars Freezy going over to the Baptiste. So burst healing is going to be flavor du jour. GCB has also made a swap here over to the Zenyatta. So they're going to be looking to focus down those discorded targets. Woo! I'm liking the poker match going on right now.
I'm loving it myself. We already see, look at this, they're moving forward. They managed to just use the payload. Kind of adds its own natural cover, throwing that bomb out to counterplay each side, but Nut's the one who goes down. That's not what you're looking for because Drunk has no healing, and they're able to break down the torp turret, so there's nobody being the distraction. So as they push forward, Fate having the molten core pops it right onto the point as their final wish, hoping to stop anybody from touching. Poor enough did not realize gets melted down and is not going to be able to survive as the Orisa returns using that bongo. It's going to be breaking down the shield, and that's what I call a last second hold.
I mean, they've got 20 seconds now, and I don't know what they're going to have coming into this next fight. They might be able to build up to the high noon. Freezy will have a window, most ostensibly. Aid now bringing out the Wrecking Ball, so we've got damage. We've got extra spot healing with the Soldier as well. It all comes down to this.
And more comes down to this. Exactly. The Wrecking Ball gets melted, forcing this into a 4v6 until Lucio falls quickly after. Conde is eerily peeking this very dangerously as the high noon goes down. They still have touches on the point, but it's not going to be for long. As we see, the window can't get too much room when the rest of your opponents are behind a shield, behind a payload, and as that Wrecking Ball doesn't fully get that touch, we're going to be seeing this hold here. The win condition is there. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can attempt to draw this out, Billy.
Nope, definitely not draw Bonnie here. So, I mean, definite win condition set to get themselves into the semifinals versus Schreiber. Oh my word. It all comes down to this. 67.65 meters is what Eurospar needs to book themselves into that next spot versus Jumbo Schreiner. So we'll see. What does Eurospar have up their sleeve here? Why did they choose coming here? I guess it was Unplugged that chose coming here. So Eurospar, maybe they have something up their sleeve. Unplugged pulled out all the stops there. They were adaptive throughout the entirety of the map. You love to see the willingness to change. Looks like Drunk Dine is going to stay on this Orisa, though. I don't hate it.
Honestly, I don't hate it either. It seems to be doing well for them, and especially when slowing down these engages, but it's definitely been a struggle just to adapt to when they're moving in for these fights. I'm definitely more paying attention to Faith returning back onto that Torbjorn. We didn't see too much of it, but it definitely showed for the spots that it did. Unplugged, though, with the Far Mercy, I think they're just looking to spam them out.
I mean, you got the long-range poke 2 times. I mean, with the Ashe and with Conde on the Pharah. So they're going to have a +1 available when they have res up. So that's going to be the big difference right now. Is does Faith get any value out of this Torbjorn, or do they have to go over to another hit scan? Waldo's going to have their job working for them big time.
You know, I agree to that wholeheartedly as they make a very slow and careful rotation onto this high ground. They definitely want to try to get that space. They want to try and gain control, but the Pharah is already bursting down their resources. They have to move in as a unit looking for everybody. But look at this, playing behind the walls, that fire dynamite going in, and while they're walking into the Orisa, just not enough. They have the immortality to survive, but the focus fire is not there. Everybody on Unplugged, besides from Hobby, they're being able to thrive in this scenario until Nut manages to find out the counter Baptiste. Eventually, Conde is going to do his job and clean up this fight, but with the Orisa there, it's just not going to be working well. Eurospar, they bring that back wholeheartedly. I was not expecting it.
I mean, the turret did its work. The pulls were doing their work as well. And now I think that they take this point, and they're going to have a nice little steamroll going around first corner here into point B. Looking for Bob to come out very soon. Phage is on the Wrecking Ball, so there's not a lot of shielding available to the members of Unplugged. And you've got, you know, Drunk Dino coming up close on this Supercharger. So dynamic fights, maybe a little bit of weird picking here from Phage. We'll see what Phage decides to do if they can get a good pile driver in on top.
Look at this already going out. We're seeing as the Wrecking Ball composition has switched just to kind of try to counteract against this bunker composition. They do get the res onto Conde, so bringing this back into a 65 and then immediately punishing it. Poor Conde did not know what was happening. The bomb is at least finding Waldo, is helping to peel out, but you lose your mech, so it's still not in the best position that you're looking for. It seems Faith is looking for that flank as the pool captures 3. They just push forward with the bongo and window. That's way too much damage, and it'll give them a chance to live, especially because you have to use the bomb solely to remech. You're pushing it on Street's phase, and you're pushing it as far as you can.
I mean, they've got self-destruct and barrage to come into this next fight, but they have a equalizer here in both the Molten Core and the Deadeye from the Cassidy. Whoo! Rally. If you can hold it here to point 3, 5.5 minutes to get 67.65 meters here on point 3. Aid is going to have to let loose with this self-destruct and hope to build up to another one.
You make a great point, but they have to just touch, you know, at this type of scenario. This is where you just got to immediately try to stop them from getting as much percentage as possible. This is why you see the bomb be thrown in as the engagement shield built up fast enough, and the Molten Core is counteracting it as they have to back out. They have to go to the corner with the rally. They build up a lot of sustain, and they're using the high noon, looking to be as annoying as possible. They get the bullet, and it finishes off the Orisa. This is the last stretch. They have no time to get this stall back in. It's going to be the 5v6, but it's going to turn into the 4v6 as we see the Zenyatta fall out. The Diva trying to touch it. Unplugged. You pushed it far. The Wrecking Ball tries to come back in, but the focus fire is there. And folks, it has been a map 5 victory on the favor of Eurospar.
Oh my word. They had all their ducks in a row, and they absolutely take down the Spanish squad. The Torbjorn, we were kind of worried about it. The Torbjorn was the best pick, especially with the zoning there with the Molten Core in the last couple of seconds of the map. That's exactly what they needed. They got the space they needed. They got the Deadeye out from Waldo, taking down the shielding ability of Phage. That's what they needed. That's what they got, and my word, what a series. We have to say goodbye to Unplugged here, but man, did they ever fight for it. Boo, man. I'm losing words here. Great effort from both sides, but my goodness. I mean, look at this. Torbjorn stats, 19 eliminations, 6 final blows, just had a serious amount of damage coming in as well. Almost 40% weapon accuracy. Are you kidding me?
Torbjorn is a projectile here, not a hit scan, so just to see that, you know, maybe it's used solely on the tank split. I gotta put it to Faith. Faith's pick is what changed everything. Gave them that speed, gave them that power. Eurospar, they may be going into the future, but Unplugged, they have shown everything that they are made of, and they did absolutely wonderful. Nothing to be ashamed of. It was an amazing series.
Yeah, I mean, full tip of the hat to both squads there. But you do see now, our semifinals are now set up. Eurospar is going to be going up against Jumbo Schreiner from Germany. And then we're going to see in the other semifinal, BMC Beaumont cohort versus Munich Esports. This is going to be a fantastic semifinals. Who's going to take the top spot in Europe? You got to stay tuned to find out for that.
Yeah, I the scuffle, maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map. Keep it getting the melee, at least that goes to your full spot, full charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall, you're absolutely
Up at like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know. Not ideal.
So let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimates used. That is a lot. That's 3 mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds compared to 15, you're equal, if not better than Habit. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that D.Va. Hatu still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Habit. Stay up.
Rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Booty. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, separated.
when we were 15. When we were 15, I remember car rides, small fights, conversations all night. I never saw you as anything more than a friend, but now I see you in a new light. We're getting older, there's a sparkle in your eyes that wasn't there before. You give me butterflies, it makes me wonder if there could be something more. We were only kids when we first met. Now let's discover what we haven't yet. I don't wanna wonder what could have been. So baby, take my hand and let my love in. When we were 15, I remember car rides, conversations all night. When we were 15.
Own Bob, but I'm not sure if they're even really necessarily gonna need it.
I'm sorry, did Winnie just go all the way? Okay. It goes off the map? Uh-oh. That's a big uh-oh moment. And Zonix said, oh,
Wow.
To block out a good amount of damage, does not save the Symmetra as they have to overextend to find anybody. Having one of the elite behind him is a bright side as you beat the 3K. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, that is very true. But the rush is going to be on the menu today for Game Not Given. Ace looking for a slam, and they the Captain Crash. Jam follows shortly thereafter, and Ace is proving to be just that, an ace for this CU side. My God, they got 4 kills, but the sound barrier and the Transcendence committed is not going to be enough to stymie.
Just don't feel too great going off of that 1v1 and getting sniped, and you're at 1. The Dragons there to clean up the rest of the fight as your team just you get to the choke without too much of a worry. You see Fed's shields broken in. Molly, no, the Diva. Oh no, not the Mercy.
He has this multi-core ready to go. Enough. Has the sights as well, they're gonna pop them. And with both these DPS ults online, there's not really much that Enzonix can do. And you know, there's a great subreddit for that. It's called Watch Float Sombra Die.
the scuffle. Maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map, even getting the melee. At least that goes to your full spot, full charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall. You're absolutely
I felt like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know. Not ideal.
So let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimates used. That is a lot. That's three mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds compared to 15, you're equal, if not better than Havana. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that diva. Hatu still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Havana. Stay up.
Rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Booty. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, you know, separated.
running your way, but you push me away. Your lifeline, losing your mind. I'm here for you, babe. I've loved you the same this whole time. So tell me, what's on your mind? And I'm not here to hear you say you're fine. I can take the pain you hold inside. I wanna know, wanna see it. Can I feel your kryptonite? Can't get this off my mind. Does it only control you? Let me in, I'll help you out. I won't lose you this time. You think you're too far, but I'm where you are, you know. I said I won't leave your side. They left you bare, but I'm begging you, stare in my eyes for you. Yeah, I give my life. And I'm not here to hear you say you're fine. I can take the pain you hold inside. I wanna know, wanna see it. Can I feel your grip tonight? Can't get this off my mind. Does it only control you? Let me in, I'll help you out. I won't lose you this time. Can I feel your grip tonight?
Hello, everybody. My name is username_intel here, joined by Chief Billy, and I hope that, whenever you are watching this, you are having an absolute great day. We just came off of an exciting match, quarterfinals, but now we bring ourselves to the semis with BMC versus Munchie Esports. Sir Billy, oh, I think we might be looking at another intense match.
Well, I mean, you've got in Munich Esports, you've got Alex 2704 that played for Falcon Esports, winner of Contenders, absolutely dominant in the Contenders EU scene, 3 championships last year. But not to be outdone, BMC has some Icelandic World Cup players, Snorzax and Finzi and Happy Cool. Oh my word, we've got XL talent on this team as well. So Beaumont cohort, aka BMC Munich Esports. This is going to be a banger of a match, and I think that we're going to have to really look at the off-tank department. How does Alex stack up against the Icelandic squad? So we shall see what we shall see, but we're going to start out on Lijiang Tower today. It all depends on where we start at. Are we going to have some Symmetra coming up in here? Are we going to have the the Cassidy and the Tracer duels going on? Are we going to see Echo and Farah? It all depends on how they want to path this through and take their shot on Lijiang Tower. Now, if we go to Control Center first, that's going to be where we see a lot of brawl. So Easy Go and Alex are going to be your tanks there for Munich Esports. We're looking at Happy Cool and Finzi. I mean, I couldn't be happier to see all this going on right now. I see a lot of people that I know in the lobby, so this is an extra special treat for me. It's surprise second cast, but hey, we are here. We're covering the EU region, and I could not be happier. I'm ready to go.
I definitely say I got to agree. We're going to be looking to see how they kind of match up in, on Lijiang Tower. I think that's one of the best moments to see how the tank lines are going to be going up against each other, and more than anything, how they're going to kind of rely on each other. How are you going to push in? Because you made a great point, Doomfist, Junkrat, Symmetra, these are kind of fundamental heroes when it comes down to these maps. And so, I'm really expecting, are we going to see a lot more of the 6-man, the monkey shadow dive type composition, or are we just going to see the fundamentals? Are they just going to run what they're good at?
I mean, if they end up running, Ryan Zarya gets so much value on Control Center, especially. But when you go to Night Market, when you go to Garden, mobility is more important there, and being able to meet the aggressors coming head on when they're trying to retake the point. That's where I think that the Symmetra, especially on Night Market, is so important, because you slow people down with those turrets. So it's all going to depend on, once they capture the point, do they continue to keep running the same compositions, or do they break it out a little bit more to have more sustain and be able to repel the attackers coming in? So we are going to start a Control Center user, and Alex had a standout season in Contenders Europe. Like I said, won 3 titles there. But Finzi, and Happy Cool. Oh my word. We've got the ex-contenders talent. We've got the ex-owl talent coming in here. So it's all to play for right now. It just depends on who's going to come out and take a stranglehold here on Control Center.
Yeah, while I think there is like a massive difference when it comes to that owl and contenders, I would fully say some of these players are like ready to go up against and break through that kind of, I think, a tier gap. We're going to be looking at this going in completely. Not one person can carry, so we'll have to see which unit, the underdogs or the... Oh, quick reset or something. We're having a little bit of issue. Don't even worry about it. Either way. Man, my inspirational conversation. But I definitely think you're right. I think we got to see a little bit more of that Ryan comp. So they are heavily looking for those ideas.
I mean, Alex is smurfing in our OWEX tournament here. Let's be honest with each other. Kind of surprised he didn't get picked up by Owl. But I mean, with the tanks only having 5 out of the 39 graduating people coming out from contenders this year, and especially losing a tank spot coming up in the 5v5, you have to be the best of the best. And Alex was just a little bit under that. But Happy Cool, I know this Wrecking Ball is going to be disgusting. I've seen a lot of these players over in the EBC, so it's a chance for me to reconnect with them. We'll see what they bring out here. Alex has a disgusting diva, but I'm looking at Finzi and Happy Cool to really set the tone here for the Icelandic squad. Never count the Iceland out, because they will surprise you time and time again.
You are definitely right. We're looking at the Wrecking Ball comp when it comes to this very King's Row style brawl composition. They are going to be looking to just play it slow. They're chilling. We already see as Munchie Esports, they are within the white room. They want to just kind of stay more stabilized. They're playing together while Kriz is looking to put in that first damage, look to be as annoying as possible. Look at that. Half is looking to put in that slam, forces out the immortality, and a beautiful hack lands onto the Reinhardt, meaning that they are not going to be able to put up that shield to defend themselves. And you've got to be a little bit more careful. You have to touch that point, as the first person to get off is going to start getting that tick percentage. And look, that's going to be Munchie Esports as they are controlling it. They get the flip, and they are mercifully stable at BMC, are having troubles finding that focus fire down, losing their fire, but enabling the res, bringing this back into the 6v6. It's still not looking too great, as their resources are very minimum, and their Wrecking Ball is continuously disengaging and re-engaging from this fight, not having to have any sort of sustainability. Love coming close to that high noon before the window is absolutely impressive, and they've taken out Sindri. That's absolutely massive, as the Pharah no longer has the hack to kind of help fall on, though that stun does do its job. There isn't much coming out of BMC. It's just building ultimates.
Yep, and I mean, that's going to be the flip point for them right now. They've already gotten the window out, so now is your time of engagement to get in there and let loose it, but Grizzy is so low right now.
No, they are dangerously low, my good man. We already see as the window combined with the high noon was able to not only secure the pick onto the Mercy, but the Wrecking Ball was just not able to survive. Now with this massive stagger, Kriz is not going to be able to escape. Poor souls, they just wanted to return to their spawn.
Yeah, and I mean, Watery getting the environmental kill there, taking Fudark off of the place. So, handful of ultimates coming in for Beaumont. Munich looking very strong here. I'm going to have to see, is Finzi hungry for some blizzards today? Sound Barrier will keep them up through this next fight.
I'm definitely feeling this is in a player's appetite, especially in this type of fight. They have ultimates, but they're setting up to use it. Not able to get that slam down, but the barrage is built there because of the EMP securability, but the Sound Barrier, look at that's going to be able to keep up the Reinhardt before anything got too big of an issue. And unfortunately, goes down before they're able to use the barrage. The EMP is nullified to the highest degree, and these poor souls, they have to touch, and it's going to be that Wrecking Ball able to find out Love, so it brings this more into their favor. Using that Blizzard, barely just misses from getting eaten from Finzi, so we're going to be seeing them move out. The hack falling onto the Diva, not going to be able to place out that bomb. They're putting that focus fire onto the Maeve, getting that beautiful slam due to the anti, while the rest of Munchie Esports looking to get this peel in. That Wrecking Ball is just building up to the mines, using the barrage, able to take out the Reinhardt, and that's how you bring it back before you lose it.
Oh man, but that was a really expensive fight coming out from BMC. So, I mean, right now Sindri has got to be more cognizant of where to put that manual hack on. I'm looking at Exo right now to be taken out first, get that shield down, and just assassinate the main tank right out the gate.
He used the window solely to slow this fight down. The Pharah having to play on the high ground, going up against the D.Va, using the Sainoon to catch anybody out. It does seem the Mercy is the first one to go down. Mines being placed onto the point. With that bomb, it's not only able to take out those mines, but the Wrecking Ball going with it. Poor Sindri is getting punished as well. Gets caught out with the Fan the Hammer in this overtime scenario with nobody really able to touch. It seems that Munchie Esports, they are going to take the lead.
Yeah, and I mean, the Ice Cold comp coming out from Munich, absolutely owning on BMC in this first map. So that's the Brawl-centric map out of the way, though, user. So now, as we head into either Gardens or Night Market, and it's going to be Gardens, the Wrecking Ball gets a lot more purchase here. It gets a lot more sustainability, a lot more stall ability. You don't have as many ends on the point here. Also, looking at environmental, I mean, Happy Cool could absolutely start knocking people into the drink or off the side. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a change coming out from Munich Esports as well. Looks like they're going to bring out, a little bit different variation of the Ice Cold. They're going to bring Exo on the Wrecking Ball here to put up with Happy Cool on the answering Wrecking Ball.
They are both going with this mirror, so it's going to be who plays it better or who's managing to get the hacks more consistently. I think that's going to be Sindri solely because they're the only person playing that Sombra, but already getting pressured out. These Tracers, they're looking to melt each other, but they don't really have a clear sight. Just looking to fight this on the point, going for that peak. Sindri is going down. Looks like Love is sharing it as they are now having full control over the point with the Uncapture. BMC, they need to start making that space. They need to start moving in, but it seems they want to back out, wait for 6.
Yeah, I mean, the McCree right now is the difference maker right now for them. The stun is taking care of Sindri every time they try to translocate out. And, I mean, trust me, on this Zenyatta, absolutely laying a flurry, and Apical's going to go down here in a heap from Ludu.
Ooh, a beautiful melt. Now BMC at a big disadvantage. What a clip! Immediately looking over to that Brigitte who was one shot. That's what I'm talking about as you've now built up your pulse bomb and, well, you have a little bit of an ego over them.
I mean, this is definitely egoing right now. Munich Esports is absolutely riding on full cylinders here. You've got the Pulse Bomb already ready to go from Ludu, and you're going to have Deadeye as well. Finzi swapping over to the Sigma, so now you've got the rock and roll comp coming in from BMC. You're going to be looking to eat. You're going to be looking to get a little bit more of that CC ability with the Accretion Disc coming out. So, I mean, they've got the tools. Now can they put it together?
I definitely think that they can. They find out Firth Arc, who is just a lonely Zenyatta Pulse Bomb, does not connect but forces the eat. So Ludu's going to be able to escape. Unfortunately, gets hacked, barely survives. So now we're looking at to see how they want to engage with this EMP built. They can throw it in, look to get as much as they can, and then quick it out. But I don't think that's exactly what they want to do, especially with the Transcendence built onto Munchie Esports. They have a lot of security options.
I mean, Munich Esports right now has these, does have the Transcendence ready to go. Man, just getting pressured out so quickly, though. I mean, they're not able to get anything done.
Oh, well, look at that. You're absolutely right. They take out the Tracer, so there's going to be absolutely no follow-up. BMC, they have to use the Transcendence just as a way to move in, using the EMP afterwards, managing to find the Wrecking Ball and almost a Zenyatta, but it's more than enough. We see the Transcendence. It gets forced out eventually, now into overtime. BMC, they're looking, throwing that Pulse Bomb, but it gets eaten with the high noon, managing to find out the Zenyatta. The Mines, though, being the even up, finding out too, the Zenyatta, making sure that Tracer does not find them. They have to keep touching this point because this is now in their favor, but the Skull definitely has room to come back, as we see. Half Cool falling down very quickly. Finzi having to go Bidding Flux, looking to use it onto the D.Va, able to escape, not going to be able to land, but body blocking that Wrecking Ball so they can't escape. The Zenyatta is on a tirade. It's just being able to find these picks. They clean it out, though there is this last second stall from the Tracer. Munchie Esports crunching. They are looking absolutely fine as they win on Lee Jang Tower and get that beautiful Tracer kill onto themselves at the end.
You love to see it. That's a bit of an ego pulse one right there. But I mean, just trends. Just looking at what we saw coming out from Munich Esports. Munich had the better compositions. I mean, you try to go with the long range poke on Control Center, and then you're running the McCree or the Cassidy and the Tracer. That was a dynamic duo of DPS coming out from Munich. So the German squad right now showing up and showing out. They take 1-0 lead here in our semifinals, trying to book their spot into the final match of the weekend, which will come up tomorrow. And I tell you what, I mean, we've got it all to play for here. The Sombra didn't have an effect. I mean, if we're being completely honest, got absolutely shut out. Couple of good EMPs, but no follow-up behind it. So the sustain was there for Munich. Munich really took it to BMC. BMC had a pretty easy road getting here too as well. So Munich filling themselves definitely all full of ults right now. So as we head to our next match, I'm looking to see, you know, what are we going to do here? I mean, I'm thinking that we're going to go hybrid here. King's Row is probably the choice that they're going to have. But no, actually, they're going to go to Numbani. So 2 times in 2 matches, user. That is something saying that, you know, maybe you didn't prepare well enough for this map.
Maybe this is just in their, you know, favorite back pocket, something that you're not going to be used to because it's not King's Row, you know, it's a hybrid map. So you're at least stopping them from playing on something that they're extremely familiar with. You're going to be having a lot to move out on, though I do think the high-level compositions, while yes, they fundamentally can work, I worry that they're not always going to, especially if the team, you know, is struggling going up against something that's a little more ordinary. I think that's what Munchie Esports are showing off. We're going to be seeing BMC, you know, on the defense. They're going to have to try and at least build that sustainability. They need to work as a unit. And more than anything, they just need to have a little bit more of a smile. You know, they played that with a frown with how slow they were going.
I mean, it's all going to come down to composition. How do you deal with the, I mean, it comes down to how do you deal with the Tracer of Lutu and how do you deal with Love on the Cassidy? I mean, right now they have shown that they are out fragging the Icelandic squad. So Munich, you know, they've got the full wind in their sails right now. We'll see, you know, who goes on defense, who goes on attack. But I mean, BMC, if I saw it correctly, looks like my good friend Snorzlax is coming in, and I cannot wait to see him on the field once again. We were friends on Twitter. I also have a kind of a personal relationship with the Icelandic squads, so had a lot of time. So looks like Munich is going to be going on the attack, so we'll see BMC's defense come out here. You know, I wouldn't be terribly disappointed if I saw a Torbjorn come out here to try and deal with the Tracer. You know, the turret obviously auto-locking on, making life for Tracer absolute hell. So we'll see what comes of this. Numbani, next map. If Munich Esports wins this is putting them on match point. So BMC have got to come out here and they've got to dominate. They've got to take their space and take time away from Munich Esports.
I definitely have to agree, especially, you know, with Munich Esports, they're on the attacking side, so they're basically setting up the win condition. You know, if they don't push it at all, well, then it's a possible draw or a full hold, and, you know, you have that security. But if you push it all the way, then obviously set it. And so I am highly expecting a lot when it comes down to these dive compositions. BMC, they just seem to be more favoriting everything that relies on comms.
I mean, comms are everything, but, you know, it's the ability to go in and be that aggressor. Now, bringing out the Winston here of Happy Cool, I love this because you're going to have the ability to cleave from the top, you know, kind of drop down on top of people, throw that bubble down, and then have the escapability to get out from any kind of poke damage coming in. That's the big thing that I'm seeing from them. Also, you know, you've got the poke coming in from Snorlax and Crizzy on this Echo. I mean, you're looking to copy the Diva here as the best option. Whew. Kind of a greedy back line for Munich Esports. They might have to think about this once they run into what they're being shown out from BMC.
Absolutely agree. No matter the choice, it is definitely going to be a challenge, and they do get a second. What a clip from Love! Finding the Echo. That's in an unresable position until they managed to use that bubble. That was still risky in itself. However, now they don't have that res as a valuable resource to be using later on. We're seeing as They want to be able to take the high ground. They're looking to set up for a dive. Going on top of that high ground, managing to take out the Brigida. It just seems the bunker is just not going to be able to sustain themselves. Poor souls. They get melted down even if they fall back. Going on to the attacker's side, they have to go back onto that point.
Yeah, and I mean, this is great work coming out from BMC. They're able to rotate their positioning. They're able to take shots up high. Yeah, Lutu knows now that they are in serious doo-doo danger land and swapping over to the Hanzo, so you're going to be looking at them to try and deny the damage coming in from Frizzy on this Echo. One-shot potential absolutely available, but as long as Rez is available to Egalari, that is what we're looking at seeing coming out from them.
Munich Esports already having to disengage from this fight. The soft dive coming out from Havoc Cool was more than enough, but look at this, now they're moving in. They have the high noon. They don't even get the chance to pop it out because the monkey drops in, pays for their life, unfortunately, but look at this, BMC still make more than with what they were given. The Transcendence, it comes out just trying to bring back some form of sustainability as we see Frizzy getting that copy with the monkey re-engaging into the fight. The Zenyatta split off is going to pay with their life, even using the bongo in a spot where nobody's going to reach it. I mean, you've got it. I guess you got to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I think I would have left it on the high ground and let them get some kind of value out of it. But I mean, you got exactly what you needed from it. So Snorlax looking for a little bit of healing here. Going to have Bob online for the next fight. This is exactly what they needed.
I definitely agree. Look at that. The bomb, the Primal Rage. They're going out and having showing those juggle talents. I mean, you pay with your life, but that was definitely a moment to feel proud of. Munich Esports, they still are just losing time when it comes to these fights.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that they don't have a shield now. So, I mean, you've got Deadeye ready to go. You've got the Supercharger to help boost it up as well.
But the high noon, I mean, take a look. They catch BMC with their pants down. Immediately rushing in, using that high noon, finding two. And now they have control over the point.
I mean, but it almost took them 3 minutes to get there. So, I mean, job done by BMC. Now they have to set up here in Streets phase, try to deal with the burst damage coming in, because Lutu and Love right now are making Happy Cool's life absolute hell. And with the window coming up, that bubble's going to be disintegrated fast.
Make an amazing point. Look at it. It goes out. The Bob is being thrown into the backline, but that Ana is dangerously low. It's up to BMC as they're doing to start winning this fight, especially with the Nano Monkey moving in.
Oh my God, Finzi
stealing the 3K. I mean, that's going to be working well, and now you can start setting up.
This is exactly what they need to hear. They had a softing disengage. They went ahead and let them have the first point. I mean, once you get that far into it, you have to let it go. But now, Frizzy building up towards another duplicate. This is exactly what they need, and the rally is popped from Trust Me.
Yep, the bongo is used in the corner, meaning it's not going to work anymore. They have to more rely on that rally, building up the armor, and they push forward. For Havoc, going down dangerously low, gets the Valkyrie just to be able to sustain, and the Brigida's going to fall down in the meanwhile. This is all about setting up, because Finzi... Oh no, Finzi gets caught mid-air by the Hanzo. As Love's taking the rotation, it seems that Alex is starting to find the picks, being able to finish off the near DPS line. The rest of BMC, they have to back up. They have to start giving up some space, especially when Love using this high noon is going to force them to start backing out. We see Havoc looking to use the Primal Rage as you're just setting up, building that bomb back up from the copy. Now going to be looking to pop it out. The Nano being used as they try to just move out with the window being placed inside the back. The copy is no longer going to be having any value as we see Frizzy immediately falling down. Havoc doing the best to use that Primal Rage, stopping that value, but going down dangerously low, has to disengage with the blast of the jump. Still BMC holding the line, not going down until that Mercy eventually falls. Lutu having the Dragons being pressured out by the Monkey is going to punish them for even trying to put on that aggression, and that Dragons, a symbol of strong and power as they manage to cap the second point.
I mean, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to get through point C here. You're going to have the self-destruct ready to go for Munich Esports, so that is a massive boon for them. I think Happy Cool in this moment needs to get off of this Winston, perhaps bring out a Reinhardt here, a little bit more stability, a little bit more stun, and Cleave going in through that. But no, the healing is coming through from Plutarch on this Ana. Almost has another Nano available, so 4-pack versus nothing for BMC.
You know, I'm going to start calling Love Cupid at this moment, using that high noon is like shooting an arrow at somebody's back, and you're spreading the love as we see the bongo used to stop the engagement. Havoc has the nano, can't even use it as well as they want to. As we see the counter dive go in, they've already lost a majority of their team. The sound barrier was mostly used solely to add on to that aggression, and with this one big stagger trying to move in onto the point, it's not even possible as we see 2 minutes and 14 seconds captured.
I mean, that's just counterplay right there. They waited out the Nano Winston there and then was able to push in. They dropped down the supercharger, and that's all they needed to push it across. So absolutely dominating coming out from Munich Esports. 2:14 on the clock in their time bank. That's set and done. Now BMC has got to come out here, and they've got to take the aggression directly to Munich Esports. Wow, I would have brought the Torbjorn. I mean, that would have dealt with the... it would have dealt with it. It would have dealt with a lot of issues going on with Munich Esports, but you know, hindsight is always 2020. So Munich, I mean, do you change anything up? Really? I don't think you have to. I think if you keep Lutu on this Tracer and Love, going with the Cassidy once again, well, I say that as they show us the Ice Cold comp. Happy Cool is going to absolutely be trying to disrupt the back, and I think that's the best thing they can do. Snorlax, I know their Trace or their Sombra is absolutely disgusting. So, hack target priority picks coming out for BMC is the order du jour for them. Munich, they just need to sustain and be able to weather the storm coming in, especially from Happy Cool with those pile drivers.
You know, you're definitely right, especially because though the pile driver, I don't know why it took me so long, is a good way to set up engagement. It's a great way to finish off these very squishy targets, so we might just be seeing continued aggression, although Munich have shown to be able to kind of counteract this. They're definitely ones to place out their ultimates even when they're being pushed on solely to slow it down. So as we see, they're looking to just build up this EMP. Unfortunately, not able to really hit those shots, but still looking to put on that aggression. That's what I'm looking out for. This is all about setup at this moment.
Yeah, and I mean, Snorlax already has 25% towards EMP, so that is a massive boon for them. They want to be able to get that out there. They're absolutely looking for the Summer right now, hoping to find something on their Crizzy. Getting lots of work done there in the side pocket with the Pharah.
Yeah, but look, they lose out on their Baptiste, and yet Munich Esports, they're able to bring it back. Finish 3 out in the Wrecking Ball. Poor Soul not even going to be able to survive. Unfortunately, that did mean they had to sacrifice their Reinhardt, who was out and alone, but you've given your team more than enough to work with while you wait for your restart.
The big difference right now, user, is sustainability. BMC running with 2 single target healers. Munich Esports has the advantage in burst healing, not only from that, but look at that! The Discord on to, trust me, that is everything they need. This should be a point taken by BMC.
That's exactly what you need. You said it better than I could. As we see, Love being able to find out the Pharah, but being traded in itself. Managed to get that beautiful slam in, hoping to put in that damage. They secure the first tick. Now they're going after that poor Reinhardt. I mean, you get the peel from the Lucio, so that's more than enough, but the blush of Zenyatta now, that May, cryo freezing, able to sustain as we see the sound barrier now committed so they can start walking in on everybody within the main route. The EMP able to cancel it out, stopping any form of healing as well. Mine's now splitting everybody off from reaching onto the point as Love's using that high noon, looking to do as much as they can. The Blizzard stopping. They want to try and collapse on everybody, but look at this. They're so spaced out that it really doesn't do too much. The Baptiste having to use the Immortality to sustain for your own, using the window as Finzi places the bomb inside the corridor, having the wall solely to be able to remech. Doesn't manage to get the kill with it, but still being able to return back into the fight, then immediately falling to given more than enough space for the Wrecking Ball to return, as we see Munich Esports sustaining for longer than we ever expected, as we see Crizzy using the Barrage, managing to take it out. The May, but the Shatter plus the bomb combo! It doesn't really do too much, but still, we see the res now being opened up. The fight continues further, but BMC, they managed to only have 2 ticks to show for it.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for them. I really thought that taking out the Baptiste early in that fight would have been the way they needed to go. And now they're looking at sub 75 seconds here. They've got the Transcendence to be able to engage on, but nothing much else behind that. You would like to see, you know, the EMP self-destruct come through, but Finzi having to remech themselves just to try and get as much progress as possible. That's off the table now. 60 seconds left, user. This is going to be a dynamic last fight.
No, it's gonna be more than dynamic. We're entering the new realm of dimensions as we see already putting pressure on to that point. Esports eventually falling down, but look at that! Yada, who has to transcend it, looking. That soldier's putting a lot of pressure onto Chris, and it's not looking too good as you're not gonna be able to sit in that fight. You're not putting in that pressure. It's a lot of knots, and you gotta start detangling them at this moment. This EMP, I guess this is just what they're building up to. They're gonna have the mines as well.
Yeah, they're going to have mines. They're going to have the Transcendence still as well. So, you absolutely have to throw it up there and take care of it. Oh, my God. 40 health. That is not ideal position for them. Oh, what a boom!
Yep, look! Almost got the opportunity. It misses out just by an inch, but they're set up for the EMP, and it's beautiful. Wait, no, it only finds out 3 as they get the hack onto the Reinhardt, and they finished off 2. Now BMC, they have to start touching the point. The Pharah is the one who has to be making the plays as the D.Va's just looking to sustain, going after this Baptiste. But look at this, Blue 2 builds up the visor in the single fight. The Pharah can't even touch the point. It's all over as they have no touch. It just seems BMC not catching a break. Munich Esports, they take it to match point.
Oh my word, that was a stomp. So, good lord. BMC have got to go back to the drawing board. They've got to figure out how to deal with the DPS combo here coming out from Munich Esports. Viel Glück. I told them earlier, well, that means good luck in German, and oh my goodness. Super is all I can say for what they've done so far. Iceland have got to bring themselves back into this match. They've got to get their act together and really show up to what they are going to bring here on map number 3. But it's time for a little bit of a break here. We got to catch our breath. We got to lubricate the vocal cords. We got to bring the heart rate down. So don't go away. We'll be back with you guys in just a couple of moments.
The scuffle, maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map, even getting the melee. At least that goes to your full spot ult charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall. You're absolutely
I felt like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know. Not ideal.
So let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimates used. That is a lot. That's 3 mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds compared to 15, you're equal, if not better than Havana. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that D.Va, how to still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Havana. Now going back off the point, top and bottom, have started to stay up. Long dagger fight as
rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Booty. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, you know, separated.
Anything more than a friend, but now I
Welcome back, folks. We have started this series off to a very unsuspecting start, 2-0 in the favor of Munich Esports versus BMC. Billy, we have seen them go quick and far, but I mean, when we get to compare the Diva stats, you know, we've got Finzi, ex-Overwatch League player, versus Alex. They're pretty comparable.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what they're going out with both. Finzi getting a little bit more of the damage mitigation going on, but the final blows, I mean, just 4 more for Alex, the German Wunderkind here. So, I mean, we're looking at seeing, you know, how they're going to progress through here. I mean, we're looking at match point right now for Munich Esports, the German squad taking it to Team Iceland here. And, I mean, unless some fundamental changes come back out here, we're looking at, you know, a German final here. They could be going up against Jumbo Schreiner in the next one. Eurospar is going to have something to say that from Ireland. But, man, I mean, this is setting up to be a fantastic final day tomorrow. Whoo, boy. I'm just looking for Iceland really to come back and show me what I saw back in the EBC. Show me that Icelandic pride and take it to Munich Esports. That's what I'm looking for right now, user. I got to see it. I got to see it.
I definitely agree. You know, maybe they're just setting up the storyline. You know, the team that was expected to come in and start sweeping, they are now looking to reverse sweep. They just wanted to put on a show for us, and especially with our possible last map, I must say. Munich Esports, they still have to go as strong as possible. They cannot lead up for even a second as BMC. They've chosen, out of every hybrid map, they've chosen one of my personal favorites, Dorado.
Oh, Dorado. Nice R roll there. But, you know, it looks like it's going to be Munich is going to be attacking. So they want to set the standard for what BMC is going to have to match. And, I mean, looking at what we've seen so far, tank play, you know, off tank's pretty much in order right now. I'm looking at the main tank battle, to be honest. Half Equal has been diffed quite a few times here, and Exo has had their way, especially when they run the Reinhardt out there. The shatters have been fat. The follow-up behind that have been absolutely delicious. And so, you know, we're going to see what they come out with here going into Dorado. It's going to be Munich attacking, ready to go. And, we'll see what BMC has to say about this going into their defensive stage. So, as we wait for these teams to let them go in, I mean, it's got to be BMC coming out strong, setting the tone early, trying to full hold on first point if they can. But, you know, if you do have to let it up, you've got many spots here on the second point to be able to make your stand and stop them from getting inside of the factory going into point 3.
Yeah, more than anything, I think I just want to see a lot more follow-up from both sides. This map is very tremendous when it comes to scale, a lot of high grounds, and a lot of ability to escape these quick fights. So when we're looking at these compositions and we're seeing the Wrecking Ball, all I want to see is when that dive happens, the Tracer and Ash are there to follow up. Snorlax has a lot of room to be able to play on this, so it's just going to be a matter if BMC can enable it.
That is the question that we need to have answered. And I don't hate what I'm seeing from BMC right now. I think this is exactly what they need to be able to bring this out here and give them the chance to go full bore here and take out these DPS stars so far in Love and Lutu. But they're bringing out a different look here. They're bringing out a Pharah of their own, so they're going to be looking to build up that barrage as fast as possible and get in behind the shielding of BMC.
Yep, the Pharah is looking to play a bit more passively, but Snorlax doesn't even care. You can play behind the walls all you want. You are still going to be shot in the head. Taking out the Ana is just kind of more of a bright side. As they slow down this push, the dive is having a lot of trouble breaking through.
Well, I mean, this is what you needed to see from BMC. I mean, they're going to have to go back and, yeah, fundamentally change their comp. So definitely leaving out the Pharah now, especially with the hit scan of Snorlax landing quite well. I mean, rock and roll now available to both tank lines. We're looking for Love to get a little bit of position here, going up on the high ground. Going to take it to the members of BMC here up high. I think we've lost.
Look at that! As we're seeing them take this dive. Sometimes I forget I mute my mic as we see them already look to take these pokes in. It does seem Egro is going to fall out due to the Zenyatta, and well, these split pokes are doing an amazing job. Munich Esports are making sure that they are looking for these dives, and the setup to Zenyatta is just not able to survive throughout this amount of damage with the casting there. They're just having a little bit more, and it seems that they're going to once again be able to stabilize.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that. Good Lord. Love and Alex knew that Crizzy was up there on the Tracer, and they said, nay, you are not going anywhere. That's massive work coming out from them. Crizzy has the Pulse Bomb available as well. So what are we looking for? We're looking for them to go onto Watery, and trust me, in the back line, big slam coming through from Happy Pool.
Yep, we're also looking to see what's going to happen of the team. They lose their Wrecking Ball, that's the engager, and we see Munich Esports, they capture the point just by getting these clips. Luto is doing an amazing job, might I say, when it comes to finding these low targets.
I mean, this is just aggression personified. They're not taking no for an answer. The quick recognition that they needed to swap their comps up and go a little bit more brawl-centric, being able to have a little bit more mobility in the main tank department, absolutely bringing it to bear on top of BMC. So mine's available for Happy Cool. You can slow down the progress right there, but Alex has Gravitic Flux. I've talked about them many a time. This is where the rubber meets the road. They've got to stop them here, otherwise it's game over.
Ooh, Love was so dangerous, walking up on that high ground and then getting punished. We do see the Gravitic Flux. It forces out the Transcendence, but that's all on the bottom way. They are not on top of the high ground, so Alex really just did an amazing job. Now they have the rally, but without the Sigma to kind of peel in, as the Brigida is the only person on that high ground managing to force out the Wrecking Ball and bring the fight onto the point. They're looking to just to take out the Zenyatta for as much as possible, but getting a little bit tickled. Had to use the Transcendence. Finzi dying by their own hand, I do believe. It does seem that Munich Esports, they're continuing to push the payload without too much of a hassle.
Nope, and I mean, Snorlax going over to this Sombra is going to definitely present a different set of issues for Munich Esports. But right now, they haven't gotten any kind of work done. The manual hacks have got to come more clean.
Yeah, look at this. They are just looking to clean it out with the Pulse Bomb. Ending the fight before it truly can even begin. They set themselves up to capture this second point. But look at this. Havicool using the mines, trying to stop them from having any chance. Well, it's really not going to be too much of an issue. They start shooting them out. They start taking it. And, well, with the cleanup, they're managing to capture the second point.
I mean, looking at Ludulele, their full name, I mean, they have had quite a run through the Banana Brawl. They've been through a couple of community cups. They've been in open division. So the pedigree is definitely there. I just was not expecting this dominant performance coming out from this Tracer player. They've got to be loving what they're getting out of their Tracer player right now.
Yeah, I agree. Just look, as the moment they start pushing in, I mean, already looking for the Pixis EMP. Finally built, though. They have the prime opportunity just to start popping it out and maybe get the better hand when it comes to Munich Esports, but they lose their Zenyatta in the meanwhile. Same with the Tracer. This payload is not stopping, especially with the Gravitic Flux looking to just lower down the damage. E-Girl doesn't have the health bar to survive it. Same with the Sig.
Oh my goodness, that is just massive coming out from Munich, and I mean, it was just perfectly played there from Alex. Knew that they had the advantage there, and took care of every single obstacle in their way. Now, Egalari, they're going to have Rally to come out here, so that's going to be able to stop the aggression for just a moment. Pair that with an EMP, this could be a fight win.
It's definitely one of the hypotheticals going out right now. That rally, though, is at keeping the Zenyatta alive. They build the Transcendence last second, and they pop it up. It gets counteracted by their opponent, but the payload is continuing to move forward. The mine stopping anybody from truly walking out. Sigma has to play far back. We're just looking to see the one flip, but gets poked. Has to rewind, recall out. Beautiful mine, forcing the Zenyatta to leave the fight. It's Finzi, uses the Gravitic Flux. Munich Esports now in a very uncomfortable position as we see the Brigida eventually get clipped down. Frizzy looking to just make a montage of their own. The hack missing out, but we do see Munich Esports. They are now losing that snowball momentum they had been building up.
Well, I mean, they had to have it. They had to break it down. They had to get this stop 4.22 meters away from taking 3 points and over 2 minutes on the clock. That is where you want to see this coming out. So Snorlax, right now, manual hacks have got to be at the premium right now. You've got to have the right target at the right time. I say go after Exo on the Wrecking Ball. See if you can focus down the fire on that. And Pulse Bomb coming in, I mean, that's going to be the real game breaker here. Does Crizzy get a good one?
Yeah, look, Pulse Bomb goes out. They're just looking to see if they can get that edge. An early pick would signify they can engage in on both sides. And it seems Finzi did not get the memo, immediately falling down, similar to the Zenyatta. That payload is so close to the capture. They've got to do something about it. As we see the Wrecking Ball looking to just survive, but it's not working favor. It's all up to Crizzy to give in that stall. Last second Pulse Bomb getting in. That's on the bright side, but you don't get the touch. That's on the downside as we see Munich Esports capture with 1:27.
Oh boy, that is absolutely crushing if you are BMC right now, because you're looking at a time bank of 1:27. You've got to get through all 3 points. I mean, there's nothing else. You're looking at match point. You are facing it right now. Munich Esports looking to take a 3-0 sweep, which would be a massive, in my estimation, a massive, real, just not what I expected. I mean, this would be the underdogs really coming up and showing their own against a squad of Icelandic stars. So
Yeah.
this would be interesting to see. You know, I'm losing my words here, but, you know, I think that, you know, this was not what anybody expected coming out from Munich Esports.
Yeah, I honestly, I have to give it to you solely because, you know, BMC, when coming in, they have absolute talent. And not to say Munich Esports don't have talent, but consider the amount of resources that we know on both sides. I definitely feel BMC were a little bit more proven. So to see Munich Esports show up, show that they are ready, and that they can go up against opponents that have gone through the contender ring is an absolute story that I would need, that we are telling, and it is beautiful. So now when they walk out, Billy, we have to see if BMC, can they push it as far as they want to.
I mean, we're going rock and roll comps for both tank lines. You're seeing Snorlax once again on this Sombra. Munich Esports just running with what they had. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So now it's all about getting the members into the defense. I like this from Snorlax, scouting out, showing what the positions are looking like. You got to be looking at Exo on this Wrecking Ball as your primary target of focus. Yeah, trust me, is not going to miss those shots. So, trust me, has been absolutely disgusting on the Zenyatta.
I got it. Yep, absolutely true. We do see Havoc Cole having to try to skip. Lutu dangerously low, though. You do not want to lose your Tracer this early. Seems that Munich Esports are taking a considerable amount of poke, but they find the Wrecking Ball. So they at least have that comfortability knowing that, well, it's an even fight at this moment, and they can engage more than their opponent. We do see Flashkin Ian eventually. Ichizo goes down. Now they are staggered as Love. That payload is moving. The Sombra doesn't even care. It's just freely pushing it in for free.
Oh man, Snorlax came alive there and getting super manual hacks going in. Futark showing why they are such a good flex support going into that fight. So, I mean, you've got Gravitic Flux already online. Finzi outstripping Alex in the Sigma department. Also looking at Snorlax. I mean, these manual hacks are coming through fast and furious. It's exactly what you want to see, and now they're getting free push.
Yep, they're getting a lot of value out of these hacks. I mean, just look. That barely missed, and it lands perfectly, finishing off the Wrecking Ball, stopping Munich Esports from being able to move in. I mean, you get scouted out, but that's what the translocator is for. Munich Esports, they still need to find some time to set up. Look, the Gravitic Flux catching them in the rotation, slamming down. Poor Zenyatta's not going to be able to survive, similar to the break, caught off on the high ground. BMC have full control over the point, slamming into them, as we see just a beautiful focus fire come out.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what they needed. I mean, Exo just trying to buy time right now, but you're just feeding a little bit more ult charge into Finzi. So 5-pack of ultimates ready for this next fight for BMC. You have everything that you need to hold yourself through this. If I'm looking at it right now, I mean, if you can hack out the Zenyatta here or the Brig, you're going to have a massive work there, but they pull it out early.
Oh, I mean, that's massive, but the EMP, it goes to focus fire, and it helps them not only take out that Zenyatta, but it takes out Love, a true threat in their own right. Now they can continue pushing this payload without too much to worry about. Munich Esports having the ultimate, but no time to use it is absolutely incredible from the side of BMC, forcing them not able to do it. But, I mean, Billy, now look at this, they're rallying in. The mines are used as the counteract that aggression, but the Transcendence, it's basically its own little counter in itself, as we see Love 1v1 against the Wrecking Ball on top of the high ground, being able to take out the not only Tracer, but the Sombra on top. They are no longer going to have that hold, as we see Munich Esports eventually stabilizing.
Oof, man. I mean, that was such a great series of events for Munich Esports. I mean, they were able to pull out Futark's Transcendence there in the mid-fight, and they were able to really capitalize after that. I mean, Snorlax did their job. I mean, he got the EMP off. They followed up on that. But Love on this Soldier is not taking no for an answer, and that spot healing from the Biotic field will absolutely keep them up through a fight, especially going up against a Wrecking Ball. So, you know, now 2:45 on the clock. You're looking for Finzi to get this next Gravitic Flux up, and Lutu has to be dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, this is still a spot that you really don't want that payload to sit, so it's going to be crazy to see that Kriz is the first one gone, just trying to set up. That Sombra just has to leave the fight, give some moment to build up that EMP. Love, though, having the Visor may actually look to just pop it out. They're seeing where their opponents are going, but they still have to hesitate. One bad move will cost them this entire push, and with the Sombra going down dangerously low, poor Snorlax is going to be able to freely escape, and now this goes back into the neutral engagements.
Well, I mean, double DPS ultimates ready to go for Munich Esports. That's going to be Love. Oh my gosh, how the heck did he get out of that? Good lord, that was a scary proposition for them. Bluetooth's going to let loose with that pulse bomb. Doesn't find any joy, but pulls a lot of shielding down.
Love is able to get away with so much right now, taking the Zenyatta and lowering this time bank. I mean, now you're trying to debate. They're gonna check their corners. They take out the Brigitte and then use the Visor just to pressure out. I mean, that's a big ultimate to use, but I mean, you gotta use it at some time.
Yeah, I mean, Transcendence and the Flux ready to go for BMC in this next fight. I mean, you can throw down the Pulse Bomb underneath the Gravitic Flux and see if you can get some splash kills out of it. But Exo can absolutely cordon off this point with the mine, so it's going to be mind games here. Who pulls out what first?
I'm definitely going to feel whatever is happening, it's going to take place on top of that high ground. It is such an essential part of this fight, especially for Snorlax's own EMP. Breaking that dislocator, translocator is the big problem there. But now, Finzi's Gravitic Flux, the mines, the Transcendence, there's so many opportunities. They have 6 ultimates. You don't lose this. The Tracer and Sombra are set up. So now taking their time, this is where the engagement begins. They're looking to put pressure onto that Sigma. Going down low, but managing to escape Finzi. More taking the rotation, wants to focus it down onto Love. Poor Soul gets focus fired, is not able to live as the mines get placed into the backline. Blue is looking to use that pulse bomb, but has to disengage, was too low, not going to be able to get that healing as we see the rally give more than enough armor to help the Zenyatta live and give a bit more peel. But losing your own Wrecking Ball, that's not looking good. They still have the EMP as an insurance quality, but with the Wrecking Ball moving on to the point and the rally, it's its own counteractive. Using the EMP to stop that Gravitic Flux, that's a big play right there. As the Wrecking Ball goes down dangerously low, but the Pulse Bomb managing to stick onto the Sombra, and Love is free on the high ground. In overtime, they have little to nobody to touch the Wrecking Ball, the last person, and it seems BMC not prepared enough. Munich Esports going against the odds, showing you they are ready for anybody as they win the series in a 3-0.
That is an upset of massive proportions. And I mean, Futark was great. I mean, they just got diffed. There's no other way to put it out there. Eurospar and Jumbo Schreiner, by the way, in the other semifinal right now, it is tied 1-1. So Munich is going to have a chance to go take a look at the other match that's going on and see who they're going to face in the grand finals here of OWEX season number 1. BMC putting their hearts out on the line, but man, Munich Esports absolutely taking the win here. They didn't take no for an answer, and I mean, you just have to be scared of a squad like this that was able to dismantle some of Iceland's best, almost seemingly unhindered.
Honestly, unhindered, I think is the better word. It's just BMC. They were throwing a lot at Munich Esports, but Munich were very much unfazed. They didn't, panic at any point. They just took a breath. They took their time, and it worked out to great degrees. Now we're going to be seeing Munich Esports. They're guaranteed to go to the finals, and, I think they're very well deserving of it, Billy.
Yeah, I'm just looking over at our notes here, and they have not lost a map here in the OWEX. So I mean, look at this: Zenyatta versus Zenyatta. Damage done from Trust Me, almost 2,000 more. 23 eliminations. Are you kidding me? That is just disgusting.
Honestly, I think it's like worse than disgusting, but I don't think there's any simile that I could truly hit that would like describe. I mean, when you have an elimination difference of 23-8, I think you're seeing, which play style is kind of working out a bit more. As much as you're getting similar healing and damage, being able to have those eliminations, that's what matters the most, is confirming those kills, helping your team out in those scenarios. It works to the best degrees, and well, I guess we'll just have to see who their next opponents might be, because stuck into a 1v1 scenario, they've got a long road ahead of them. I think Munich Esports, they are just going to relax, take a moment, see what their opponents are due, and feel proud that they are going to the grand finals.
Well, the good thing for BMC is that they get to come back tomorrow and play for the third place between the loser of that Jumbo Schreiner and Eurospar match. So we will see who their third place match will be. It'll be from 1600 hours CET. That'll be 9 o'clock here in the States on the East Coast. Ooh. And 8 o'clock in Central Time Zone where I'm at. So, we'll see who they end up facing tomorrow. But for Munich Esports, I mean, they haven't lost a map yet. I think that they're feeling very full of themselves going into this next match on the grand finals. So this is going to be, where the rubber meets the road. Are they going to be able to go through the entire tournament without losing a map? I mean, that would be absolutely phenomenal for them. We'll see. We're going to see. And then we're going to see both of those matches here tomorrow on Elo Hell Esports EU. So this is going to be, a wrap up for us tonight. User day of matches done. We had a surprise in Munich Esports. We had a 5-map thriller reverse sweep in our first match. Any last words before we go off for the day?
Honestly, I guess if any last words, I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast. It was a lot of work to put in, and I've got to say it was well worth casting. So if you enjoyed what you saw, I'd recommend hitting that heart and bell, because one is a follow and one is notification, so you can stay up to date with Overwatch EX, as well as you can join the Discord, get up to date, see when the matches, see who's streaming, see basically everything. And then if you want basically a confined version of that, I'd recommend follow the Elo Hell Esports Twitter, as they'll make sure that you not only know who is producing behind the scenes, giving you these stats, giving you these amazing camera angles, but your casters who are for those moments, and well, what teams are going up, and if there's any delays. Basically simple things. But if you also enjoyed our personalities, obviously our Twitters are kind of in the down below. You can check us out. We'll make sure to keep you updated anytime we are involved with Overwatch EX. Either way, I'm username _Intel. This is Chief Billy, and we thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.